Are we live yet?
Good morning, Xbox, and good morning, panel. Good morning, chat. Welcome to the third episode of this rising popular podcast. Getting lots of great feedback from you guys. Are fantastic, real MVPs. Let's get those out of the way already because we got a super chat first thing this morning. Mr. Doggy Dog 420, one of our biggest supporters of the program. Happy Sunday, panel, chat. Much love to you all. Thank you, Doggy Dog. Chase Jones, Princess Zelda, Dragonheart, Yobi, Casket Repair in the house already. That is how we roll, baby. Go big or go home. We got a good show. Hey, speaking of Big Mike is in the house. What's happening, Big Mike? Thanks to Big Mike. That's how I came across Coolcat Terri. Yes, and speaking of, let's introduce our fantastic panel right now, and we will start with the cool one herself, Coolcat Terri. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. I am doing fantastic and ready for the show. We got some fantastic topics. It's going to be great.
Next up, we got the man who is Eternal Shaddai. What is happening, brother? I love this swag. We're going to talk about that on the show today, but yeah, representing. What's happening?
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. I hope you guys had a great Saturday here on the panel and also on chat. I'm ready for those news.
All right, fresh back from Mexico, and we got the one, the only Axel 1324s in the house. Axel, man, how are you?
Buenos dias, Xbox. Good morning, Xbox. Thank you so much for having me, man. I am excited to do this. I can't wait. Once again, shout out to the chat. You guys are the real MVPs here.
Indeed, the one, the only, the man on wheels. It's Cerebral Paul.
Good morning, everybody. I'm ready for a good, exciting show. I'm almost awake. Haven't had coffee yet, but that's okay. I'm here this week. I remember to wake up. That's a big plus for me. So there you go.
It's always a bonus. Well, we're glad you're here on time, Paul. Like I said, we thought we weren't going to have you at all last week, but at least you made it. And last but not least, the one who brings the scrub to the tub. It's Scrub Nurse. What's happening, brother? How are you this morning?
What's going on, gang? Good to see you guys. Here with my Coke with coffee, not sponsored, but hit us up. I'm glad to see everybody in the chat, ready to get on these topics and see what's going on with everybody this morning. Let's get to it.
Absolutely. We got some early birds in the chat. Love it. Good to see them here. Yeah, we got some chat picks. Before we jump into all of the seriousness of things, let's find out what everybody's been playing. At least go with one of the main games that have been keeping you busy. Going back around the circle. Coolcat Terri, what game have you been spending the most time on since our last episode?
I actually dug Outriders off my backlog. We stopped playing it for like 3 weeks because unfortunately my co-op buddy, he had the inventory wipe issue. So we just gave up on the game, but he got his stuff back. So we decided to dig it back out and try to get to the ending before Biomutant drops here. So we're pushing now to get it done.
Nice. Yes, Biomutant. That is one of the topics for this morning. Eternal Shaddai. What game has been keeping you busy, if any?
Actually, I've been busy with Darksider Genesis. I'm trying to pretty much upgrade everything, but also I was trying to suggest Terry, which I bought it not too long ago, called Bartlow's Machine by Beep Games, and that game is so unique. It's an indie game, and I really, really love it. So once I'm done with Darksiders, I probably gonna keep playing that Bartlow game. Is really, really good.
Nice. Well, we'll take your suggestion to heart, and maybe more people in the chat will give it a shot as well. Axel, obviously, like I said, you've had a bit of a turbulent week, so I'm not sure what you've been able to play, if any, but if so, let us know what's been keeping you busy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I haven't played anything. I wasn't in the country. I tried out xCloud while I was in Mexico. They only have 4G, and at that, it's slow 4G. And I got to tell you, it does not work in Mexico. Xbox has got to get their act together over there. But yeah, no, I didn't play anything. I jumped back into Yakuza yesterday.
Yeah.
And I actually found out that I am more addicted to that game than I initially thought. Because, you can see your stats now and see how many days you've played. I have about 60 hours into Yakuza right now. And I'm only like on chapter 9 or something like that. I mean, I'm not very far.
Yeah.
Just running around beating people up.
Nice. Cerebral Paul, again, you've been pretty busy as well, obviously in a transition period. So how much gaming have you been able to do, and what's been keeping you busy?
Two things have been keeping me busy. One, thanks to you, is Mass Effect: The Legendary Edition. I actually streamed it for 6 hours the first day I had it.
Nice, man.
And reliving that is fun and interesting. And I do like the changes they've made. I'm only not even halfway through part 1 or Mass Effect 1 yet, but
yeah, the changes are great. Oh, he's got the cough. Don't die on us, brother. Don't die.
Uh-oh.
That's all right. It's all good.
This looks like a job for Zantac.
He warned us about this prior to.
Mhm.
yeah. Just remember, if I die, bury me with my streaming stuff. That way, if I become a Walking Dead, I can come back and be on the show. Anyway,
we'll bury you with Viagra, so you'll be a dead stiff. How about that?
That's it. There you go. And then I've also been spending a lot of time, because I lost a lot of time, with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which when I went back to it, I realized one of my quests was broken. So I had to go back to before that quest. That was 135 play hours previously. So had to go back and not start over, but pretty darn close.
Dang, yeah, that game is pretty taxing. And getting down to the newest Xbox Series X owner, Scrub Nurse. So what have you been able to play on that beautiful and shiny new box? And what's your impression of it now, having it in your house for a couple of days?
Oh yeah. I'm loving it. I can't wait for more people to be able to get their hands on it. I got the console Sunday, picked it up from a friend, and I played a couple of games on it. If you can afford it, which I know a lot of people aren't able to, I was lucky enough when moving to this house, being able to play games at 120 frames per second. It is remarkable. I played Call of Duty, of course, 120 frames. That was so smooth. I had to take my sensitivity down. Let me see what else. Forza look, it's already a gorgeous game, but playing that at 120 frames per second is just so smooth. The fidelity on the games are ridiculous. Everybody was telling me before I started how much it was going to be a drastic difference. I watched videos, but I did not realize being able to use quick resume. I think I'll have to put some videos up on Twitter and stuff, but Forza usually takes you about 2 minutes or more to get a game started from the loading screen, and it was taking about 10 seconds. Popping into games, even from having the whole console turned off and then popping into a game in like less than 10 to 12 seconds, it's just remarkable. The console is great. Going back and playing the games that I had before, back and pad, the fidelity, the stuff that they were doing with this console. Shout out to Jason Ron and everybody else that's working on that. It's just remarkable. I just want Microsoft and everybody to be able to get these things on the shelf. I know it's coming. People, if you want one, just keep fighting for it. It is coming, but once you get it, it is a big change. You will not understand it until you get your hands on it.
Absolutely. Nothing better than seeing the happiness of someone with a fresh new console. Like you said, just keep fighting to get one. In some cases, as long as you don't give up, you might snag one. I'm hearing speculation that they may not see like decent stock and inventory till about March of 2022, which is quite a possibility. Let's hope that they've got a lot more on store shelves before Halo Infinite comes out, so that game can have the biggest launch and the biggest impact it can heading into a brand new year. And hopefully most of COVID is behind us by then, but that's wishful thinking. It really depends on the cooperation of people across the world and our countries and stuff like that. Yeah, it's got to be nice to get back to normal, man. It's going to be nice to give people hugs again and stuff like that. Jeez Louise. Let's catch up with the chat. Go ahead, Paul. Jump in, bro.
You said for the March 2022, you heard that about Xbox. I knew that about Sony, but I hadn't heard that about Microsoft.
Yeah, well, I know you get there's a lot of fluctuating dates, and there might be nothing to it, but I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised. I would imagine production is very, very similar for both companies, since I think a lot of these processors come off of similar assembly lines, or in some cases almost the same ones. So
the issue with Sony goes beyond supply and demand. They're slowing their own stuff down because of their own issues. But
yeah,
like I think I said last week,
yeah.
Phil was shooting for July at the latest to start seeing stuff in the wild. We are already seeing Xbox One S's. So if you really can't wait and you want to, there's no shame in getting a One
Yeah.
S, people. Seriously.
Yes, don't forget about the One S. Very capable and amazing console, sleek in design. And if you don't care about discs like old Noof Nukem, then there's nothing wrong with going with the S, man. You'll have a very good console, and it's so sleek and well made as well. And got the SSD in there, so nice fast loading screens on that too. So
Yes.
yeah.
I actually have a story about this. We were playing Outriders, and one of my friends, he has a Series S, but it's in his bedroom. So he keeps the One S in his living room because it has the Blu-ray player.
Right.
So we were playing Outriders, and he was in his living room on the One S, and oh my Lord, the loading times. You do not know how spoiled you are until you go back. And we all unanimously voted that he's no longer allowed to play on his old Xbox if he has a Series Xbox in the house.
Yeah.
For me, I'm living that pain right now because one thing I didn't mention is my Series X is broken. I have to send it in to get repaired, so I had to go back to the One X. And the pain. I feel like Dr. Smith from the old
Mike.
Mike, you can't hear me?
Yeah. You're kind of fading in and out, Paul. There,
That's
so
weird.
yeah.
That's weird. I don't know why. Nothing changed.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah.
Perfect. So I feel like Dr. Smith from the old Lost State. The pain. I've had to go back and I'm playing on my One X, and it's definitely noticeable. It's
for sure. Yeah, no, I think we all can feel that. I mean, because I still use my One X quite a bit, and when I'm playing multiplayer games with people and they're on the new ones now, because a lot of my games are still stored on my One X, and they'll be loaded up and ready to go, and I'm sitting there looking at the loading screen, and I can even hear like the gunshots and stuff in the background. I'm like, what's going on? Man, we're already playing. Like, wow.
One thing, real quick, what I was going to say to add to that was, I know a few people that have already planned on getting a One S for their kid or whatever later down the line. So what they're doing now is because they can get the One S, they're picking that up now, and then as soon as they get the X for themselves, they'll pass it down. So that is an option for people, because that's what some people I know are doing and have done.
I think it's a great option to even have them both if you can afford them. I'm starting to see S's around. Like you said, I actually saw some at my local Walmart, which was nice for a change because they hadn't had anything for a long time. And I even complained to one of the management. I was like, how come you guys can have Nintendo Switches in your store, but you don't sell any of the PlayStation or Xbox products? I said, that's kind of not really fair. They didn't really have an answer. I mean, obviously it's a corporate decision, or so they say, but yeah. But I want to get off track. Let's catch up with the chat real quick because we got Joe Dummore is in the chat. Fastback's in the house. What's happening? We got Anime Heaven. Chase Jones is with us. Like I said, Big Mike is here. Doggy Dog is hanging out with us this morning. We got Anime Heaven. Yes, so great crew already in the chat kicking things off. And let's get into our first topic of the morning. Everybody's fresh and ready to go. And let's do this. Our first topic is going to be about the Ascent coming to Game Pass day one. I don't think we talked about this last week. At least I don't think so. Perhaps did we talk about this last week?
We mentioned it, but we didn't really talk into much detail.
Okay, just because sometimes, when you're doing multiple podcasts and you're also listening to a pile throughout the week, sometimes you can't remember exactly what topics you were kind of heavy into or what you might have ignored or just kind of touched on. So I think it's a cool thing, the Ascent. A lot of us have been very excited for it ever since we saw it debut a few E3s back. It is very close to fruition. It is coming out, I do believe it's sometime in July, and it's hitting Game Pass day number 1. So there you go, guys. If you're a Game Pass subscriber, you don't even have to go out and pony up the extra money. It's going to be ready for you, and it definitely looks very intriguing. It looks like kind of the game that Cyberpunk technically should have been. Great character designs, cool story, awesome twin stick shooting. I could go on and on and on, but I really like the artwork, the art style. It looks very clean. Looks like a game that's going to run very smoothly, especially on the new series consoles. And let's get our panel's take on it, and we'll go around the circle, and we'll start with Coolcat Terri because, like I said, I know she's into the indie scene quite a bit, and we'll see how she feels about the Ascent. Are you willing to take the plunge?
Yes, this game looks amazing. When you read up about what the game is, you really think you're reading about Cyberpunk 2077 because everything that they're talking about is what 2077 said they were going to be doing in their game. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, wait a minute, am I reading the right game stuff here? Because this sounds identical to Cyberpunk 2077, but it's completely different. But no, it looks phenomenal. And I love that it has the 4-player co-op, which is major. So that's fantastic. And the fact that it's going to be kind of like so you have your isometric action RPG gameplay, but then it actually has full animated like cutscenes and stuff, which is fantastic. So that's going to make it a lot more immersive, a lot of fun, and it looks like a fantastic undertaking. It does not take place on Earth, so keep that in mind. So you're going to see more of like the people are going to be more alien in nature. So that's pretty cool to because I haven't seen that done. Usually when you do Cyberpunk, it's always like more of like an Earth thing. So to see it be more alien is a nice little twist. But yeah, it's basically just your Cyberpunk theme, hyper capitalism taking over, and you gotta to figure out whether they're good or bad, deal with different factions and all that good stuff. So it should be a good play.
Absolutely. The studio that makes it, off the top of my head, I can't think of who's got the names handy. Anybody?
I have to look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Who makes the Ascent? Because I'm just trying to
Neon Giant.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some of their previous games, kind of give us an idea of how kind of what to expect or something leading up to. Yeah, the 4-player co-op is a big plus. That's probably one of the biggest reasons I'm excited for it. We don't have enough co-op games these days, so that's pretty cool. And if you like games like Diablo and stuff, and this one obviously is more of a shooter, but should fit the bill perfectly, I think. All right, Shaddai, how about you, man? You've had a chance to see the game. You have any takes on it?
Yes, I saw it last night actually, they have it for almost 13 minutes of gameplay. And from what I have seen, like Terry said, is pretty much another cyberpunk setting, but instead of being a first person, it's gonna be pretty much like they call it a bird's view. So that's pretty much a little bit of a big difference of an experience. So when I saw it, other than the visual, because it looks really, really stunning, the first game, for some, they might say, what is Shaddai is talking about? But, that's pretty much, I felt a little bit equal to. My first reaction was like, it feels like I'm playing Halo Spartan Assault, because it's double, because it's pretty much, how you call it? It's you use your analog sticks, for pointing and shooting and all that. Also, I can tell that that game is gonna, as the game progresses, you could tell that it's gonna be difficult, because you have to have a really good reflex to reload. Because I guess he takes a little bit of a time, because that's how it is. But the game looks stunning. The 4-player co-op is gonna be very immense on that game. It just, how I saw how crowded of the NPCs were there. Yeah. It's gonna be pretty much big, and I'm very surprised that the game looks so good, and we can tell that it plays good for a studio that is only 11 people that makes that. Yeah. I'm very shocked. And also it gives us, at least, I don't know if that's I can't say if it's a jab to CD Projekt Red, but if they nail that, it's gonna look bad on CD Projekt, because the thing is that it's dedication. I wrote that. I think I wrote that on Twitter. Is like I'd rather have a smaller team to create a game like that, because they're more dedicated than a bigger studio. Because I guess I'm not gonna say the stress is lesser, but it's more of a dedication thing. But other than that, I'm looking forward to that game, and I want to give it a try on that.
But in all fairness to CD Projekt Red, like the scope and scale of Cyberpunk is almost unprecedented. You know what I mean? So the amount of computing work that you're trying to do in an open world RPG with NPCs and cars and RPG and physics and every other little thing going, where it's a top-down shooter. I mean, obviously, this game's probably not going to take 100 hours to complete. And, you know, it's a top down. So right off the bat, I mean, there's a lot less computing work going on with like all, obviously it's going to be particle effects and different things in this game. But I would imagine, I'm not a programming expert, but I can only imagine that it's quite a bit of difference building that game versus Cyberpunk.
See, because I know where you're coming from, because there's two different things, but there is the same settings. But it's just that CD Projekt Red is so well known that I'm not gonna say it should be perfect, but after all that talking, all the explanations that they were doing, and the way they deliver, it pretty much, I'm not gonna, well, I gotta say flop. Sorry to say it like that, but for a game that is pretty much, you know, a little bit different of a camera angle, burst view, and all that, I think it's because I'm trying to compare it, because it's the same setting of a cyberpunk setting type, and I'm like, if that's the case, I hope it doesn't go that route and come out a little bit wrong. And that's another thing, because right now Terry is hyped for that. I'm hyped for that. So we don't want to get another cyberpunk setting and being another flop.
well, okay. Now, let me real quick to say, you were talking about, the dedication, etc. I think that's an unfair thing to put on them, because those guys at CD Projekt Red could be just as dedicated as these other guys. They just have, CD Projekt Red also has a board of directors breathing down their neck. It's not, and this 11-person crew probably did not, so they could take their time and work on stuff and make sure it gets ready to go. Where CD Projekt Red, the board, they freely admit the board forced us to release it before we were ready.
No, and I give them credit for that, because they actually recognize it, and they actually say it to the public.
Yeah, and also remember, Cyberpunk is a style. It's not necessarily just tied to that one game. It's actually, Cyberpunk's been around for quite a while.
Genre. It's a genre, just like steampunk.
Right. It's very much tied to steampunk. The idea of old and new kind of mashed together. Also, this style, I don't mind if you don't mind if I'm jumping in. I may be jumping to you, but since I'm talking, the over-the-head look it gives me, because I just watched the promo for the first time. The XCOM games. Remember XCOM? Very much the XCOM games. I would have to look to see what engine they actually used, because it almost looks like it was visually that it was used the same basic engine that XCOM was used.
I think they use the Unreal. I think they're using Unreal.
Well, which is possible, yeah.
I think it was Unreal 4.
Yep. I mean, because it looks beautiful. And I do like the way that it is 4-player, or you could also single player all the way through, according to what they said.
Yes.
Which for me is a big plus.
Yes. The to kind of go off of what for Shaddai though, it's not just like the dedication thing, because they're definitely dedicated. It's more of an issue of I've spoken with different like developers and stuff. It's not being dedicated. It's the fact of getting too many cooks in the kitchen tends to happen.
I should have thought of that. Yeah, you're right.
That's usually what happens.
That's
so
true.
The smaller studios are better, because they're not tripping over each other, trying to get things done.
And you also don't have the head. you also don't have the head chef going, "Where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money?"
And that's the reason why I admit it.
Yeah.
Probably I used the wrong wording, but what you're saying, that's what I had on my mind
know.
because
Yeah.
like nobody.
Yeah.
You're not wrong what you said, Shaddai. So
Yeah.
we're not firing at you for that. I'm
No,
both
no,
teams are
I don't feel,
definitely,
I don't feel
no.
that way, but it actually, Paul and Terry actually explained it better because that's what I actually felt. So I'm with them.
The developers they did also tout that the Ascent is going to have a lot of replayability, so you can easily get that 100 hours if you want to go through it and get all the collecting and get the different endings. I think it's supposed to have multiple endings, so if depending on how into it you get, you can put that time in.
Yeah.
I have a question though. Does that game, because even when I read it and all that, but I guess I'm probably if I missed it, does it have by any chance? Oh no, that's an exclusive. I was gonna say a crossplay between the Windows and
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, sometimes you always got to watch comparisons because while the worlds may be very similar, like it'd be like to some degree, like if someone ever compared Zelda Breath of the Wild to Grand Theft Auto 5, right? Both phenomenal games in their own right, but you'd have to be naive to think that Breath of the Wild is running way more computational math underneath the hood than GTA 5, which has 5 billion things happening on it, like a real world living scenario. That stuff, that's what takes massive amounts of computing power. Like that, I don't think the average person understands, to have all those cars going, have free flowing traffic, have NPCs going around the world. That's one of the things, because one of the things you saw with Cyberpunk, especially on the lower running platforms, is you notice that's the big thing right off the bat. They had to drop the textures down. They had to get rid of a lot of the traffic so that those worlds are not quite as populated, because it just takes a massive amount of compute. Like Breath of the Wild, as good as it was a fairly barren game. Like, you know, from an overall perspective, it's not like a lot of open world games you see today, which is just filled with stuff. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic, but just trying to make a point.
Oh, well, yeah, and it's like games like Cyberpunk, and I love games that do this where the AI does random stuff. I mean, there are fights going on in the street. There are car wrecks. There are people shooting at each other. And Grand Theft Auto did the same thing. I mean, for no reason whatsoever, these mobs, the NPCs are going at it, or whatever. They're doing their thing, and you think, well, it stops when I'm not near them. That's not true. Those are still being computed in the background to get a resolution.
Rendering all those buildings and things is really intensive.
All right, well, let's bring Axel in and Scrub to finish up our comments on the Ascent. Axel, how about you, man? Are you excited for this particular game? It definitely looks pretty cool.
And that's the thing about Cyberpunk style. It always looks cool. But I mean, if you really stop to think about it, there aren't too many movies or games that when you think Cyberpunk that stand out. I feel like Cyberpunk is one of those genres where you're either going to do great and it's going to instantly become a cult classic and people will be talking about it forever, or it's going to completely miss the mark and you'll be relegated to all the rest of the Cyberpunk failures in the world, right? I like Cyberpunk. My first experience on Cyberpunk style was, Blade Runner, as along with a lot of other people. But on the gaming front, my first one was a game on the Sega CD called Snatcher. It's a Hideo Kojima game. I don't know if anybody ever played it.
I've heard of it.
It's fabulous. It was basically like playing I already lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. It was basically playing the movie. It was very good. And then you have things like XCOM that are great. And you have things like Cyberpunk 2077 that just was so ambitious. And they partly succeeded, partly failed. And as I said, I'm still looking forward to playing it. I'm probably going to get it real soon so I can get my V going. But the Ascent, being a twin stick shooter, when I was younger, I was a huge fan of twin stick shooters because I was a fan of shoot 'em ups. And the twin stick shooters kind of replaced the shoot 'em ups. And so the fact that, that novelty kind of wears out. Hey, Fastback, thanks. I'm awake, I swear. Where was I? I'm looking forward to it. If it's got the loot grind right, so like Diablo does, where it's just amazing, like it's addictive. It's an addictive loot grind. I'm gonna keep playing that game for hundreds of hours after I finish it. I'll play every ending. I'll play every character. I'll play every option. But if it doesn't have the loot grind, I'm not just gonna replay it to watch different endings. I'll watch it on YouTube. But it looks phenomenal. The cutscenes look great. Like they look grade A. Those cutscenes. Those cutscenes can be put up against any studio, in my opinion. And the particle effects and everything look good. The one thing on the trailer that I kind of did not like was that the movement looked slow. The walking looked slow. They could fix that. But, if you're going to do a twin stick shooter, especially where you got to start dodging and stuff,
right?
If I'm moving slow, I'm going to get flustered. That's my opinion on it. But it looks great.
Yeah, hopefully you got a good dodge maneuver.
It could be dependent on the characters, though, too, because a lot of them were kind of more heavy mech, kind of like they had like the big, like machine guns and stuff too. So that could be a factor.
I saw someone rolling, and I was thinking when I was watching some of the 20 videos they put out, I saw a character rolling, and then I saw him walking. I'm like, if I roll available time and they walk this slow, I'm going to be rolling across the entire game.
Well, that's another thing gave me the XCOM feel, that whole kind of measured movement thing. Because you can play XCOM, there's not a lot of running and gunning. Of course, XCOM is turn-based, but still, they move, and they move with a purpose. It's not a Call of Duty type thing. It's a measured movement type of situation.
Yeah, it could be more like because you have the same cybernetic build situation, kind of like in Cyberpunk 27. You depending on what cybernetics you put on would change what your skills and stuff was. So the Ascent does the same thing. So depending on what cybernetics you put on, that might make you slower, more clunky. You might not be able to have like a dodge if you go to favor to something else. That could be a factor.
Nice. Yeah. Scrubs, take us out of this one, brother. How are you feeling about the Ascent? Does it look like a game that you'll be diving into early when it hits Game Pass? And of course, how big is it to have a game, something like this in Game Pass for the dev and for the players itself? That aspect of it, because this is one of those games that comes out that could easily be lost in the shuffle of games, but because it is going to get front row center attention on that amazing platform. And that delivery mechanism, that I think the Ascent has a good shot at getting a lot of success on day one, and perhaps even will help line up a sequel. And we have lost. Who did we lose here? We lost
Axel. We lost Axel.
All right. He's coming back. He was getting some lag and he was botting out a little bit, so I think he's coming back. But I am definitely excited about the Ascent. I'm glad that we have time to wait. Coming in July 29th? Is that the date? If I got it right,
correct, yes.
I think it's July 29th. I'm glad I have enough time to play some of the games that I really want to come, especially one that's going to be one of our topics later on. The game looks beautiful. Like we said, the cutscenes look amazing. I like the style of the cyberpunk genre. I got my X now, so I plan on going back to Cyberpunk now that we have a lot of the updates and see how much better it looks compared to, because I was one of the ones that were having some problems on the 1X. I liked the game, but there were some problems. So I enjoy that, just like I'm waiting for another one that's coming out that's going to be side-scrolling, The Last Night. I hadn't heard much lately about that, but it looks great. The Ascent, I think what is going to help it, especially is coming to Game Pass. That's one. We're going to get a lot of more eyes on it to people who might not have the extra money, because this is a lot of problem that gamers are always going to have from younger to older. With bills coming up, parents not having the money to get kids different things, especially coming with the pandemic, and folks are kind of penny pinching a little bit more. You kind of got to pick and choose what games you're going to get. Everybody wants the big title. I want this game and this game that comes out every year, or this one exclusive that's coming out this year, or these 2-3 games. You get Game Pass for the price of getting 2 big exclusives, or 3 if you're going to deal with Ultimate. You can get your hands on all these games coming out, and for some people it's not like that. What I like about Game Pass, which I've done on several games, even games that are Xbox exclusive, just dealing with Forza. Forza has the Ultimate Edition. When that game first came out, Ultimate Edition is $100. I'm not paying that, but I wanted all the cars. I wanted to be able to get all that stuff. I got the game, played it on Game Pass, and then a couple months later, they had a sale, and I got the Ultimate Edition for $50. And now I have everything, and you can't beat that. Same thing with getting Mass Effect Legendary Edition. If you got Game Pass and EA Play, it took what $10 off of it the second you hit the button to get it. So things like that. A lot of times you don't notice it until, because I didn't even notice that when I got Mass Effect that was going to take off on it. So I think that's great to be able to have that. Another great thing about it being on Game Pass is its multiplayer.
Right.
And so you're getting not just you, but you're getting your friends on it. So it's going to put more hands on the game. And then a lot of times, especially with a lot of Xbox gamers, because the stigma is Xbox gamers, that's all we want to do is shooters and multiplayer games. So here's a multiplayer game that's a shooter. You get your friends on there, let's go to town. So with the cutscenes added in there, because some people might not be a fan of top down, but be able to have the game, shoot, goof off with your friends. With the twin sticks, I think people who haven't had a chance to play those type of games, they'll get used to it pretty well. The learning curve, I don't think, is that great. I haven't seen the explanation on some of the gameplay on how to use it, but I have seen gameplay and it looks great. It looks very immersive, and I think it keeps you busy with all the enemies and everything on the game, that you're not going to get bored. It doesn't look like it's a game where you're just walking through the board and you get a couple at a time hitting you. It seems action packed, especially if you're going to have 4 people playing on there in the multiplayer. You're going to have to keep that scene busy to keep the difficulty on the game not being too boring. So I think the game is going to be great. I hate to get hyped up for games too much, because there is a chance of it kind of getting you let down. Hashtag Outriders, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right to be excited for games. It's all right to be able to play the games that you want to. If you're excited about the game, don't let anybody drag you down. Be excited for the game. But like we always say, back in the day, games didn't come out too buggy. You either the game was great and you played it, or it's buggy as hell and everybody just threw it in the trash. You didn't have no room to do patches and updates. So I think because games are so difficult, stuff is so much on a timeline, it makes it harder to do that. So I'm hoping that this game goes well. Like I said, it looks well. Everybody who's done some gameplay, they've been raving about it. So I'm happy to see what's going on with this game.
My last thing I'm going to ask all you guys, and we don't have to go around the circle on this one, one of the big bonuses for me, and this goes for a lot of games, I could say that definitely about a game like Outriders, is the fact that you can play with your friends, you can play co-op, or you can go in randoms. So I wanted to know from each of you, how big is the co-op element for you guys, and what detours you from? Because if there's one issue I have with co-op games, it's not the games itself, it's actually the community. Where I find that when a game comes out and there's lots of hype, it's always easy to find like that 3 or 4 people sometimes to round up, during the launch week. And then after that, everybody just forgets about it and moves on to something else. And I'm one of those kind of guys, when I start with a group of people, and I generally prefer to have friends and not randoms, because one, I know my friends are going to have a microphone, and I already, we're going to have a good time, chatting and being in the Xbox party. Whereas I still can't get over how many people don't seem to communicate online these days. I don't know if it's by choice, if there's just other factors, but in a day and age where it seems like everybody has not only one microphone, but about 40, and we're all interconnected and cross-play and everything else. How many people are not communicating? And some of these games largely rely on communication. Like It Takes Two, for example. That's a great co-op game, but I don't know how you can effectively play that game if you're not able to communicate, just because of the kind of game that it is, and there's so much critical things that you need to do and stuff. But so that's what I wanted to know, because I remember, and the most famous incident for me was The Division. When The Division came out, I couldn't wait to play it. Got in with my friends. We started right away. Of course, I was working, so I come back like a day or two later, and everybody's like 5 times higher level than me. And it made it really hard. They're moving on. They're doing different missions, and I keep finding this. It seems like no matter which co-op games I start, that's what happens every time. I get a group of people, life takes over, everybody splits up, and then for me, like that's one of the reasons I haven't finished like Diablo 3. I want to so badly, but I can't find a consistent group of people to play it with, and I don't know how you work that out. If it's something you just got to figure out amongst yourselves, but I'm always down for co-ops. I just wish I could get some consistency. So like I said, it's an attractive feature, but it's also kind of a turnoff. It's probably why I've completed less co-op games overall than I've completed just single player stuff, because I want to play with my friends in co-op. That's half of the attraction. And if I can't seem to find a decent group of people to play with, like it's hard. You're playing half the game with one guy, and then the next day you come back as another friend and they're picking up a different play. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you will get a few people, shout out to the Blue One and a few people in my XCOS community that will come and play a game with me no matter if they finish it 5 times. They're like, hey man, send me the invite new if I'll come play. Like Borderlands, another great game that I struggle with because I like to play it with somebody. How do you guys feel about that? Are you in the same boat as where I'm at, or does it really not bother you at all?
I've had that problem. What I have done to kind of help that is I have a group core friends, that I stream with, and then what we'll do is we have a chat and say, all right, today 7 p.m. who's getting on, and then if we have 4 or 5 people that can play, we're going to run with that. If we have too many people that can play, we might split it up. All right, you 4 go here but so I think that's the issue, especially with life getting in the way. I think the older you get, the harder sometimes it is to pair everybody up to play. When you're in high school, college, or younger, sometimes you might not have as many things that you have to tend to, and you're more of free. Dealing with the microphone setting, I think a lot of that has to do with some of the toxicity that can show up on online gaming. And some people, what they'll do is they'll just keep it unplugged, because a lot of times if somebody shows up and it shows that you have a mic, folks will just mess with you just because they know you have a mic on. So I know a lot of people who keep their mic unplugged just so nobody will see it, or they will only play their multiplayer games with their friends and talk through Discord and those different things. So I think it's more getting you a core group of friends and then sticking to a schedule. I think that's the only way. And then if you can't make it, you can't make it. But say, hey, this week I am going to play the Ascent on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. 9 o'clock, we're going to run it for about 3 hours. And I think a lot of times that'll help get you more of a consistent
scheduling,
because you're never going to get it where everybody stops at level 13 and we're not going to play again until 2 days from now and start back then. Everybody's going to get back and forth, and it is annoying. But if you're willing to roll back with your friend and do that, which is some of the fun thing, is, hey, I want you to get where I am. It makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I can't. There's some like I've had squadrons since launch. I have yet to be able to hook up with any of my friends who all said, "Hey, let's get together and squad up and play." And I have not done that for 1 minute with any of my friends, because I'm only, me, I have no real schedule in my life. I'm sad to say. But I've been able to do it with random. But again, to me, all those games are more fun with friends. And I do like. This is the Ascent is like the Division 2. I did a lot of the running around with friends, and I'm one of those guys that if I'm with friends, I already did that part, but yeah, I'll run it with you because I like the game. So, and it's exciting and it's fun and it's always interesting. And so because I actually soloed probably about 85 to 90% of the Division 2 on my own, except for some of the big bosses. I was able to solo all the way through, which I appreciated because I am, as much as you guys see me on community game night and stuff, you'd be amazed how many hours, and some of you who have me friended on Xbox will see that a lot of times I have single player games pulled up for hours upon hours. I'm just minding my own business, you know? And sometimes I'm in that mode where I may jump in a chat with a group of people like I do for community game night, even if I'm not playing the game. But often I just want to be left alone. You know? So I like having that option. And I think I'm going to like the Ascent for the same reason. You know?
For me, I never have issue. I predominantly play co-op. I do that. I always choose co-op. I'll play co-op, and then after co-op, it'll be a single player. PvP is always dead last on my agenda. So I never have any issues. My main friends that I play with, we play with daily. So we never have an issue with scheduling. They know every single day at 6 o'clock, I'm going to go live. We're going to play at whatever game is on that I want to play that day, and we're ready to go. And we do it every day, every day at 6 o'clock. We're like, okay, we're playing. Sometimes I might have to, push back a little bit if they have run late with work or anything like that. But yeah, so we go out of our way to, whenever we buy games, the first thing we check is, does it have co-op? That's the first thing we look for. And a lot of times if a game doesn't have co-op, we might be like, then we'll blow it off for now. We'll get it when it's on sale. Let's go find a game coming out that has co-op. And we always put those games first. So it's completely different for us. I don't play with randoms ever. So I don't have to worry about any of that toxicity or anything like that. So that's really nice too. So yeah, my experience is just completely different. And it's interesting too, because like my core group, we're very diverse when it comes to age groups. The eldest is 60 years old. I'm in the middle, and then we have another guy in like his upper 20s. So like we're so it's like it's very interesting, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I prefer co-op. It's more fun.
And Terry, you bring up a great point about the toxicity, which is one of the biggest reasons and deterrents for a lot of people in the gaming platform. I can understand now why Microsoft and various companies are spending more and more all the time to try to make their environments more inclusive. A lot of game lobbies are becoming stricter, and of course companies are starting to crack down a little bit. There's a long way to go, but Assassin Lupa, our good friend Assassin Lupa, like she brought this up to me and had great conversations about it, that toxicity almost drove her away from gaming, and certainly gaming with friends, because so many people would ridicule her because she was a woman, and women shouldn't play games, and that kind of crap, right? She had so many insulting people, and you get every type, and I can only imagine the kind of shit that a lot of our panel here probably has heard or has gotten personally, because they are of a minority, right? We hear that all the time. I don't know how many times I have heard some very unsavory language in an Xbox game, especially the shooters tend to be more prevalent. The Call of Duties, Gears of War. It's absolutely brutal, and I can't believe we still have people like this just inhabiting our world, and they get so much joy out of, like, I don't understand it, but I don't, that's another topic for another day. But I just, like, it's so sad that so many people are deterred from amazing games and environments like this, when co-op should be bringing people together, and yet co-op and multiplayer sometimes has divided people, which is really sad.
Oh yeah.
I was driven away. I was driven away for just that reason.
Yeah.
And I until I became an Xbox ambassador, and I had other friends who got me into some other games, I did not do multiplayer online. I refused. I was like, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the same for me. That's why I play co-op games, because that toxicity is predominantly in the PvP scene. So that's why I don't play that stuff. It's not any fun when people are constantly, heckling you. It's like, it's a game, have fun. You're not going to win every match. Get over yourself. So, all right, if you're going to win every match, you wouldn't be playing with a rando on, the game. You would be, in esports team somewhere having something to brag about. So cool your jets, man. You're nobody. Just cool your jets.
Yeah, so some aren't always racist, but then you got the tryhards, the ones that start out, and the moment you die 2 or 3 times, you're a piece of shit, man. Can you learn how to aim? Like, oh my god, this is like taking an empty bag of trash across the game screen, and you're just like, dude, like just cool it. Not everybody plays this game for 15 hours a day like you do, so like you just cool it, man.
It's the anonymity of the internet. These same people, if you saw them in person, wouldn't say 95% of the stuff they say online, but they know nobody's gonna knock on their door and see them about the stuff they say. So
these are the same people who will not introduce themselves if they do go to a convention. Yeah. They won't tell you who they are, even if they know who you are, because they know if they do, you're gonna be like, no way. Yeah.
Axel's talking, but we don't hear him. Axel, something wrong with your mic? Your mic on mute? I can see your lips moving.
Now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, bro. There you go. Now
there you go.
There we go.
I've been talking for 20 minutes.
I've been trying to get a word in for the last 30 minutes, guys.
It was just lip syncing. That's all was happening.
Milli Vanilli. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm actually guilty of being a try hard because, I like to do well in the game. I like to play to win. So this is why I got away from multiplayer games, PvP games, because I am a tryhard, and I'll start talking that, I grew up in the OG Xbox Live days where there was no filters. You could say
it was horrible.
So many bad things, and I always involve people's moms when I talk smack.
You were one of those.
Same way. I was the same way. I get very, very competitive, and even Big Mike, he's always like, but I like it when you become that kind of person. I'm like, but I hate that person that I become. So no, I don't want to go there,
What is it the kids say nowadays? Oh, your dog water or something like that, right? That is very tame with the words that were used when I got
the one that drives me absolutely bonkers, and it tells me how old they are. You mad, bro? You mad? I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Like, just get over yourself. Like, you mad, bro? You mad? Oh.
My favorite thing to do to kids is like, oh, I beat you, and I don't even play this game. I just installed this game 15 minutes ago. You've been playing this for 3 months, even though that's not true. But I just like saying it.
Yeah. In Halo, you did it the classic way. You just teabagged everybody.
Oh man, that's the original trash talk. It's because you can trash talk verbally before the match. You could trash talk in the match, and you could also trash talk with your character, I guess, after you kill them, right?
Yes.
So I've been known to be a tryhard. As you know, me and my friend, when we tried hard, we almost stopped being friends. It gets there. It gets up there.
Yeah, I have my friends. I know we're straying off topic, but our crew that we run on Call of Duty is mainly black guys. There's about 3 others that aren't, and we do pretty good by just not saying anything, which is, you don't want to play it that way, but then a lot of people, which I think is fun, they'll talk all this trash and say all these words, and you're this, you're that, N-word this and all that, and then they lose. And then they either back out real quick or they're real quiet all of a sudden. So you got to deal with all the trash, but then you also get some joy when you just beating the mess out of people. And but I know before Xbox 360 days, oh man, loading times in between games, that's all it was. It was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think that got the competitive juices up, but all this stuff is, some of these people don't have home training. They're just on here just trying to troll. I mean, you can't even put a Twitter comment saying, "Oh, I got my new Xbox," and folks go, "Oh, yeah, I remember when I got my first paperweight and all that," but because they just want you to respond. And I think what gets on even more than anything is you don't say anything back to them. And it just bothers them. Sometimes they'll even tweet again underneath just to see if you're gonna. But don't get down in the mud. I know it's fun. Trust me, I know it's fun to get down in there with them, but just let it go. And you
But
got to get some
as an
thick skin.
ambassador, just let me say real quick, because I deal with this almost daily when I'm in the forums.
Mm-hmm.
If you get down in the mud with them, half the time they want you to because they will report you. So you get banned, not them. And then if you go back and say, well, he said this about my mom first, I can tell you right now, enforcement does not care.
Mm-hmm.
They're only going to go to the one thing you said and say, "Yep, you said it. You broke the rules. You're on a timeout."
Usually, I say, "Yo, keep talking all that because I'm being promoted by you." So I usually say that, or usually I just say, "This is not a tournament. We're not winning anything out of this." So
yeah, I don't even respond. I don't even respond. I'm if it's a reportable offense, I report it. I don't even go report it like some people do. Nah, let them be surprised when all of a sudden they can't do anything for a good day or two.
Yeah. I got my body block, the black button.
Yeah.
You gotta love when a match ends and then they slide into your DMs. Accusing you
of cheating.
Boy, yeah. I was like, man, you're hurt, dude. Like, calm down.
Or you beat them and then they send you a request to play with them on the next game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or they say stop hacking because I saw you did this, and I'm like, I'm on a console, just regular console. What are you talking about? Usually they say you're hacking real quick.
Well, you can't hack on a console.
No, they'll say anything.
Yeah. Just to... they'll say anything, but there are people that do that. They get modded controllers and stuff.
Internally, I just want to say, no, I'm not hacking. You're just that bad. No.
This is what I love about this podcast, and this is what I love about this, because we started with the Ascent as a topic, but we're on a very valid topic in itself, something that obviously resonates with everybody on this panel, because we've all seen it, we've all been part of it. So that's what I love, because sometimes a great topic of discussion comes out of something so organic, but this is obviously one you can have fun with, but it's also one, like I said, everybody here has been affected. Obviously, some of you definitely way more than me. I will admit mine is probably very light. I'd say most of the crap I get is usually like, I know back in the day, especially when Halo was like the big shooter, if I went out and I had a really good game, like Scrub said, you get those messages after the game. You get those invites, come play a game with us, send you a party invite, send you a game invite, get those messages, right? Like, derogatory stuff, really nasty stuff, like, stuff like that, just because you took them to school. But great topic though, guys. Yeah. Great. One of these days we will come back to that in depth. And I would like to get some guests on the panel too, that can definitely, like I said, somebody like maybe Assassin Loop and different people that have great stories about this kind of stuff. And like I said, we've got a very diverse panel here that definitely can speak in depth on some of the crap that you get when you're gaming.
Usually when it comes to co-op, this is just me. Usually I put the rules like right out at the beginning. I'm like, well, so what you're trying to do? I'm like, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. I want to go how I want it, like that. I know everybody's different, but the thing is that sometimes people want you to skip a lot of things because they're either higher up and whatever. But I'm usually, when it comes to co-op, I usually say, I want to do this and do that. If you can help me do this and do that, we're just fine.
Great stuff. All right, guys. Well, let's move along. Go ahead, Sir Paul. Go ahead.
Just let me say real quick. Yes, Chuck, I do know about mute, but we should get to a point as gamers where we don't have to mute people. They need to learn not to be toxic.
Yeah. And the most disturbing thing is, coming from an adult, it's one thing, but when you hear the kids who are supposed to be our next generation, I mean, we obviously as adults we need to lead by example. But you hear so many kids and they're trying to say these things. And I know for a lot of them, they just think it's cool. But that's the thing. Why do they think it's cool? Because it's never cool to say something hurtful and derogatory. And you get it all the time. And they just toss it around like, hey, but it's like, would you say that to your friend who is colored at the school playground? Probably not, because he probably would have smacked you in the face already. And again, it's so sad. But that's the thing. Where are the parents? And why are they not stepping in? Did they not hear the shit behind the scenes? Are they not taking any onus to teach their kids properly? Like it's disturbing.
Yep. But when I had kids who used to use my account, I told them, if I hear you talking smack or getting out of control, I'm gonna gank you, because it ain't because it ain't happening. One, on my account, because I don't want to get banned, and two, you just shouldn't be doing that. You need to be a better person, you know.
It is entertaining though when you hear the 12-year-old dropping all the F-bombs and all of a sudden and then all of a sudden you hear the mom in the background, what did you say? And then they go and then all of a sudden they drop out of chat. Oh, I love those moments.
Oh, yeah.
I actually heard a kid take a beating once on chat. I was like, wow, Bobby was not happy. Yeah, Bobby.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hey, Titan Drago's awake and he's not on Smite already. That's impressive. Good morning, Titan Drago. Great stuff. Anyway, a fantastic conversation. And one of these days we'll make it more of a topic because it probably could spend our whole show talking about stuff like this and great incidents. But fantastic topic, guys, to get us off this morning. The Ascent coming to Game Pass. And let's hope you can find some great co-op partners.
So, Titan, have you recovered or do you need more salve for your burns? I'm just asking. I don't know.
Something tells me there's a rematch coming up in the future here. Our next game, Biomutant. I see a lot of excitement for this game. I've also seen a lot of animosity about a certain resolution thing, but that's a topic for another day. I'm not here to talk about what version runs better on what console. That's not what we're about. We're just here to talk about great gaming. Biomutant definitely looks like it fits the bill. You know, my question is going to be another hit, or is this going to be, another sort of, it's popular for a day or two and then it's a flash in the pan, or it's one of those has-beens or overlooked games? What are we looking at here? What kind of game do you think this is going to turn out to be? A small team of 20 developers making that, which is that's one thing that's surprising right off the bat when they came out and announced that. But I think it looks really cool. I think Terry, I think might have already pre-ordered it or has it. I know a lot of you guys excited it.
It's pre-ordered for sure.
I got it pre-ordered.
Is it a game that I expect we'll see in Game Pass at some point? Absolutely. But in the meantime, it looks like a great game with an interesting character, IP, kind of an open world adventure action shooter. So I don't know as much as I'm sure some of you do. I do not have the game pre-order. I will probably pick it up eventually, but I can't say it's up like here on my radar, but it's definitely on my radar, which is a good thing. So I'll let it go. Whoever wants to take it away on Biomutant, about how excited you are, what has impressed you so far about seeing the trailers. Does it look as impressive as it did when we first saw the trailer? Do you think it's more so, maybe less so? Take it away, whoever wants to have at it.
I'll go first.
Or actually, yeah.
You put
if that's okay. Well, I still have internet. So, Biomutant, everybody was all goo goo gaga over the reveal trailer a couple of years ago. I think it was 2018. And I wasn't. I was just like, it just looks like a mouse or rat running around. It really doesn't look great. But what they released recently got me hyped for one reason and one reason only. And that's that it has text. When you do something, it goes boom or kaplow or something like that, that whole comic book feel to it. I love that style of game. And then I found out that you can make a little creature, whatever it is, into whatever style you want. You can mutate him, his appearance, and you can take over powers, which, as a fan of Mega Man, I love taking over powers, right? And it's got an 8x8 open world, which is fairly decent size for a 20-man team, if I'm being honest. And this whole, it looks good. I can't wait to play it. The controls look, when I was watching the gameplay, I was kind of thinking, man, whoever's playing this game kind of sucks because he's getting hit a lot, and I'm thinking, or is it this hard? What if it's a Souls-like game and I just am going to get flustered with it? But I'm really looking forward to seeing some reviews. I'm not all in yet, other than, the art style. I really like it. I like the fact that you can take powers, and I like the fact that you can mutate your person to fit your play style. And then just to really quick touch on the controversy that was on Twitter this week over the resolution. I really don't care. 4K, fake K, Fox K, upscale, checkerboarded. I don't really care.
Special K. Oh wait, I'm hungry. Yeah.
Give me a game that just fits on my TV and doesn't look that pixelated. I'll take it any day. I don't care what the resolution is.
Oh yeah. What's your thoughts, Terry? I know you're big on it.
Yeah, her cheek was very wide.
No, I agree with a lot with the Axel said. I was actually going to talk about the comic book text as well, because I think it's fantastic that they did that. It gives it like a different layer to the game versus just your standardized, like hit number stuff, like your damage numbers and stuff. So it's nice to have like the fun little text on there. The one thing though is the big issue though with games like this is, the single player games is they do fall off pretty quick. People get to the end and then they move on to the next game. So if it's really, really good, people will pick it back up again. Like Mass Effect, that's a game I played like 5+ times. Not all at once, over long extended periods, I'll go back and I'll play them. But more often than not, these games, you have a lot of fun with them, and then you beat it the one time, and then you don't go back. You move on. So the hype is real. People are going to love it, I think, as long as it, delivers on the expectations. But because it's a single player game, I feel like within a month, everyone's going to be moved on already to the next thing. So that's the sad stuff when it comes to single player, but that's just, the hard truth with single players. I mean, even great games like God of War or Spider-Man, that you play it, you have a lot of fun, and then like a month or two after it's done, you're not playing that anymore. You've moved on. Mm-hmm. So it's just the way that goes. But no, the game is, I think it's going to be fantastic. And the biggest thing for me is with the appearance thing, your appearance is going to change as your stats change. That is new. Normally you create your character and then your look is set. You might change like your armor or whatever, but your look, like your face, everything is set. So now, never
AKA
before,
Fable.
Yeah, never before have I ever seen it to where, if you're going to get, more stats towards, I don't know what they call their stuff, but let's just say if you go more towards intelligence, your head might get larger, or if so it's like your whole body and your facial expression, like your face structure, everything is going to change as your stats change. Like that's crazy. Like that's never been done. We're going to have some messed up looking characters running around in this game is all I'm going to say.
That is based on real life. Look at the size of this head. I'm a very smart guy. Okay. I can't find hats that fit proper. I'm just saying, it's just
Yeah,
he's gonna be mutated, Paul.
I'm definitely excited for it. Like you were saying, Terry, how your character could change. That was one thing that kind of started sucking me in because that gave me the Fable vibes. Also, kind of the quirkiness of it. The game doesn't take itself seriously. It has little jokes. I know it's probably going to get old over time, but I know you can turn it off and turn it on. Is the floating character over the whole game, just talking over it. To me, that's kind of endearing to the game. I don't know how long I will last on it, and it will not kind of get on my nerves, but I'm interested in that. Also, the gameplay, you're getting a little bit of so many different vibes of how you're playing your game, especially the Batman game, the Arkham series, and seeing some of that gameplay, flipping somebody over in the air, keeping your combos going. And one of the things, it's an 8x8 open world, but at the same time, I feel it's one of those games where I can get lost in it, or I can play it and be able to get through the game, not trying to rush through it, but get to it where I feel that I'm at a point where I've enjoyed what I wanted to do, but get the main storyline done. And if I want to move on to another game, I can, but I can always go back to this. There's many different ways to play this game. You can play it evil. You can play it good. Well, they don't say evil or good, but they say red or blue. And so at least if you just wanted to do 2 playthroughs, you can go right then and there. It's not just one playthrough. There's 2 different ways. You different choices change during the game, how people react to you. You go through just killing everybody. You walk up to another crowd. People are going to be weary of you. So, and who else did that? Fable. So I'm definitely excited. I love especially Fable 1 and 2. So this is something that has me excited. I think if what they have showed in their trailers, as far as what you can do, what you can bring to the game, because there's also trailers of like 45-minute gameplay. Every couple of days on YouTube, somebody's putting up some more gameplay. So it's steady getting leaked out more and more. So go watch it if you don't have a full grasp of it. But if they can bring what they're putting in the game right now, I'm definitely excited about it. And I pre-ordered it just to see about the mercenary class. I mean, because you pre-order it now, you're paying the same price. And sometimes I really hate how the pre-order system goes. You pre-order it, you're going to get that class. If you just buy the game straight out without pre-ordering it, that class is going to be something you have to pay for later. So I just said, well, look, I'm already wanting the game. I want to get that extra class anyway. So that's where my pre-order was. But usually on games like that, I don't pre-order just in case it comes out to be horrible. But it's something I think will work, and I'm definitely excited about it. So I don't know, rest of you guys, what do you think?
Well, for me, when I saw the gameplay, it was funny. I had to laugh by myself. I was laughing for a while because I'm like, why am I playing Kung Fu Panda in here? Because it's all animals in here. But I actually do remember when in 2017 that they were trying to put a dub name that it was called a post-apocalyptic Kung Fu fable type. And a lot of people was a little bit, I remember, like, what does that supposed to mean? Because they were pretty much bare what they were trying to say. But I didn't know that Experiment 101, that's the studio that is creating, is pretty much former employees from Avalanche Studio, which they made Just Cause series. So there's a possibility that that game not only is going to be very unique because we get those animals like survive. I'd rather say you're pretty much surviving because we're talking about post-apocalyptic game. There might be some Just Cause there, here and there, some type of sandbox. I could see that happening, but it's very unique. Seriously, it's very unique. It's pretty much Kung Fu Panda. It's pretty much like Kung Fu Panda. I love like what they said that they have that comic book Zap and all that. He's talking while he's attacking. I can tell that we're gonna have a long time exploring that world. The big question is how big is it gonna be, the game? Because if it's very ambitious, that game, it could be hours after hours of that games. And it's another game. Actually, it's another game with pretty much 20 employees, exactly like the Ascent, another small team creating a big game like that. So now we're seeing how small teams are trying to flourish with those games to the community, to the gamers, and I'm looking forward for that game too. I'm not gonna buy it now because there's a lot of games coming out, but it is on my radar because I wanted it to see or hear, no spoiler on people's experience on that game. But I could see a lot of customizations on your characters, how evolve on your on your equipment and all that. But I'm looking forward to it. I really do. It's very different, but I think I'm gonna buy a little bit later. I'm gonna buy a little bit later. So what about you guys?
Sorry, I stepped away, so I don't know who's had a chance to speak on this particular game.
I think you're the last one.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
You got go ahead, Paul.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom, boy. Okay, I'm just whatever.
That's me.
Lost action
again. Actually, I really haven't. I followed this game enough to know that I want to play it. I've gotten to the point now where I try to avoid watching too much gameplay in any game because I wanna enjoy it when I first play it. Mm-hmm. I had considered pre-ordering it or getting it at launch because of things that change in my life. It's gonna have to wait. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm sure I'll know more as you guys all start playing it and my other friends on Twitter start playing it to know if it's really something I'm interested in or that I should wait until it hits Game Pass. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a unique game, which I like. The idea of the guy like talking over the game the whole time, and you can turn that up. That reminds me of when they launched the Lego Forza Horizon or the Forza add-on for Lego, and they have the radio station that is nothing but the song from the Lego movie, and that's all they play. That the only song it plays, and it repeats, and the DJ comes on and it reintroduces it in a different way every time. And I have literally played that game with that going on stream for hours. You know, because after a while I don't hear it, but the people in my stream are going, "Oh my God, turn the radio off!" You know, because after a while I just don't. It's background noise, and this strikes me as it's going to be the same type of thing, unless it's like Claptrap. Okay, now Claptrap is something that I want to shut off. You know, let me shoot Claptrap. Okay, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I will play it at some point, be it soon after launch.
Yeah.
Or when it hits Game Pass. But
look, I got the original Biomutant right here. Look.
Yeah.
What's up, Toffee?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Wow.
He's gonna get my computer shut down again. He's lonely this morning, so he's all over the place here. So
yeah,
I'm excited for the game, though. Like I said, I think it's going to be an awesome game. It really looks good, and the fact, like I said, is more impressive. It's 20 people. Like, to me, it looks like it's got a mixture of some of the best games out there right now. Like, you've got adorable character artwork. Like, that's one thing you notice. Like, the character art is just really, it's really catchy. It looks great. The game looks like phenomenal. Like, you can definitely see it's benefited from a little extra time in the oven, so to speak. It reminds me a little bit of Breath of the Wild, in a sense. You got the glider and that open scale world. You see stuff off in the distance. It kind of reminds you a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, simply from the way the character moves and that shooting element and stuff like that.
Yes,
it definitely has that vibe where it reminds you of a lot of good things, and that's not a bad thing when a game kind of conjures up those images and stuff. I think that's great. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that people do support it, and the game turns out to be good, that sort of thing. I'll pick it up eventually. Obviously I will buy it regardless of if it ends up in Game Pass or not. Who's publishing this one, by the way? I forget who it is.
I think it's THQ.
THQ Nordic is the publisher.
That's Nordic.
Okay.
It's Nordic.
Yeah, they're the ones who put out the tweet.
I don't know if they. I don't think they didn't develop it though. They're just the publisher.
No, they're just a publisher. But a lot of times too, when people talk about the games and will it be good, and I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not, which is good to have Game Pass. But I remember back, which I know a lot of you do too, when I was younger, when it was time to go get a Nintendo game, you didn't know there was hardly any commercials unless you had all the magazines that were talking about it. You were just going through Toys R Us or whatever and saw something cool in the little sleeve, and you got in. Either it was good or not, or maybe your friends talked about it. So it's one of those hit or miss things, but that's always been around. Exactly. It's
Beautiful
always
Joe.
Yeah, it's always been around, and you're gonna get some hits or misses, but I'm willing to try on this game. Definitely.
Is it going to be a game of the year contender? We'll have to wait and see, but I think it's definitely going to shape to be a lot of fun. I just hope that it does find an audience, because it is coming out in a bit of a crowded space right now. A lot of people are playing different things. It could be one of those you buy day one and it ends up in your backlog for 6 or 7 months. But Cat, go on, Tavi. Oh my God, I shouldn't have let him down here. He just Anyway, I mean, it is what it is. Let's get into our more topics as we're moving along. I got a funny feeling we're going to hit a 3-hour mark again this morning, but it is time to let Terry take things over now as we get into our indie game spotlight with Coolcat Terri. So just let me know when you're ready, Terry, and we'll switch things over to you.
All right, everybody. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're ready for the next big game. This is going to be one that I hope people will get into. I've thoroughly enjoyed it when I played through it this Just give me 1 second here. But pretty much for people out there who are fans of 3D platformers like Banjo-Kazooie, Ratchet Clank, Spyro the Dragon, this is going to be something more free for you. So if you like those kind of games, I got this for you. Give me 1 second. I just got to get my screen up. The game's called Skylar and Pluck's Adventure on Clover Island. Hopefully my screen share isn't glitchy. All right, it's perfect. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the trailer real quick, and then I'll kind of do a quick discussion about the game. All right, everybody, so here you go. Here's the trailer.
In the outskirts of the galaxy, a progenitor relic has surfaced.
Who are you?
This is Skylar.
I'm Plux, and these islands are my home.
You see what happens, Skylar? You can't escape what you are. First thing I'll do is scorch this sorry moon, and I'll start over from scratch.
All right, so there you go. Skylar and Pluck's Adventure on Clover Island. You play as Skylar, who's this female cat creature, and her trusty sidekick, Plux, who is an owl. And the whole point of the game is there's this evil entity called CRT. He was that robot man, and he's kind of like, typical villain man, hungry for power, and taking over the place. So you can go ahead and you got to,
Oh, shit.
Oh, we're going to try to stop him. Are we good? We're still here. Am I gone? No, we're here. Okay, so let me go ahead and close this screen off real quick. So you go ahead and you have to, deal with this, CRT. You get different gadgets in the game, which makes it really, really fun. So you'll have, I can't remember off the top of my head all the different gadgets, but you'll have things that will manipulate like the platforms that you have to jump on. So you'll have to do some like puzzle solving as you move through. So it's a lot of fun. You get a jetpack. I remember that. And I think you get like a claw arm or something. It's been a while. This game came back out in like 2017. Great game. It retails for $15, you guys. $15. So it's definitely easy on the wallet. It originally came out on PC, PS4, and the Xbox One. So go ahead and do yourself a service and check it out. It is a low budget game, so you're not going to get that same, super polished look as you would for like, Jack and Daxter or something like that. But the gameplay is still solid. Like I said, I had fun from start to finish with it. So please go ahead and check it out. It's definitely a game that I definitely know flew under pretty much everybody's radar. So do it. It's a great game.
Well, thanks for another fantastic indie showcase with Alan. She's been picking this 3 weeks. She's picked some real gems already, games that I certainly wasn't familiar about, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the rest of you were in the same boat, and that's why we have this segment, so that way she can kind of get you up to date on some fantastic indies that might get overlooked. And at $15, like Terry said, it's definitely a gamble worth taking, especially if you like platformers. Love the character design as well. A cat and a bird. That's a weird combination. It's almost like a cat and a fish. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie had a bird. We remember that one. Bring back banjos. Go.
Oh, yeah.
Same my ukulele.
Yeah. Hey, Graphic God is in the chat, guys. The one and only Graphic God, my Canadian brother from another mother, guys. There's a guy you want to support as well. Check out Retro Renegades on Tuesdays before Gaming After Dark. Great bunch of guys over there. And XboxGamerPicks.com if you want to get some fantastic graphics, video overlays, etc., etc. I'm going to plug him, yes, because Jay supports me, and that's what it's all about. And he's been there for me ever since day one. Nukem does not really exist the way you know it without graphic gods. So thanks, Jay. Glad that you be here, and we got to get you on as a guest sometime on this show now that we have a time zone that works out for you. Do it now. Yes. All right.
I want to flip back. I'm still.
Yes. Okay. All right. There we go. Let me get this.
I mean, I
back.
know you don't like to look at me, but you know.
We're gonna stare at Terry.
We want Terry.
You started the hashtag. That's right. We want Terry. They got more Terry. The whole screen. Well, you're a little easier to look at than the rest of us guys on the. Well, Scrub's pretty easy to look at.
That you minimized Terry and the thumbs down came Fast and Furious on the side.
Oh, is that what it was? Wow. Hot day. Man, we got 4 thumbs down this morning. Who was that? Come on, guys. Are we that bad? You give us 4 thumbs down? Hey, we got 41 thumbs up, though. So, hey, you can't complain about that.
We start talking about toxic gaming and yeah.
Oh.
That's what happened.
Yeah. That's what happened, yeah.
And I've been making new friends, so some of those might be due to me, but that's okay. You know,
it's all right, man.
It is what it is.
Tell it like you see it, man. Yeah, people saying it has that Recore vibe too. Yeah, there were certain segments of that game that did kind of that some of the way the platforms and stuff work with the time jumping and stuff like that. So yes.
My worst enemy, time jumping. That's why that's gonna fall under game I will not try to play because I know what will happen. You know.
So now that hopefully, Paul, I'm not sure alone last week just because of the way things went. You didn't have a segment, but you're on deck now for the X-cessibility segment with Cerebral Paul. If you have anything to say on the matter, and if you do not have anything this week, that is fine. We will just move right along.
I do have some things, and I have some links I want to put up, but you still haven't made us like people on the channel who can readily put up links.
Okay. You're gonna have to run me through that to do that one of these days.
Yeah, but no, that's fine. So last week was it was GAD, and I always forget what it stands for, but it's a focus on accessibility in gaming and computers in general. And Microsoft once again is leading the way, and they have some links. But what I want to talk about right now is also I think he's in the chat. Clowns put up a great article.
Yeah.
Because not all disabilities are physical. And noticeable where you can look at me and go, yeah, that's a cripple, you know, he got issues, but
right.
So some disabilities are hidden and you'd never know it, to see them, even me, I actually, a long time ago, really short story. I was part of the BBS scene, the bulletin board system, which was basically local internet where people would call into your computer and leave messages and stuff. And it wasn't a secret that I was disabled, but it also wasn't a big, it wasn't talked about a lot. Not out of shame, just it never came up. Why would it? And we had a gathering we called MUPs, modem users pizza thingies, where we would get together once a month. So at one, I was sitting there minding my own business at a table. My crutches were off on the side away from me. And later the guy goes, you know what? Looking at you sitting there, I wouldn't have guessed you were disabled. I'm like, well, that's a good thing, right? So even me, if I'm in a certain situation, if I'm not in my wheelchair or whatever, you may look at me and go, aside from the really big head, he looks totally normal, But Clowns, and I do have a link to Clowns' article. He actually had an article that was a Wired published it. He wrote this for Wired, and I'm going to put it where you can get it in the Streamlabs chat, and then you can put it up there for me. And if you have not read this yet, go read this. It's actually a really good article. As soon as I can here.
Yeah, just take your time. I think if you just add it to the screen, I can put it up there for you.
Yeah, right there. And he talks about disabilities that are different than being physical.
Where is it?
In the Streamlabs private chat. Okay.
Streamlabs private chat. All right, perfect. Hang on here.
Yep.
Sorry, guys. Just bear with me. Like I said,
StreamYard with a StreamYard. Yeah, you know what I meant.
yeah. I got it here. There you go, guys. There's a link.
And I also want to mention, Microsoft has a bunch of stuff going on that if you are disabled or are interested in helping with disabled, if you on YouTube look up MSFT Enable, they have a bunch of links, including the Ability Summit they did last month that I was part of. And every month they put up stuff and different articles about different disabilities and things. There's a lot to go through there, but you actually might find it interesting. They even have links for like service animals. You know, they run the whole gambit. Okay. And it's really interesting. And basically what's going on is, from what I can tell, is we've gone from being an invisible, unheard of group of people, gamers, to we are becoming very visible. Like I think I said last week that according to Phil, of the billions of players there's like 300,000 people that identify as disabled gamers that they know of. And I think, and like I said, I think that number is underreported because it's not a little box that we check every time we get an account.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's just basically on the information they have. And they actually reach out to us once they know we're there, or we get like in my case, I've done a bunch of studies for Microsoft. You know, they reach out to me for information, so much so that if you think you're just a number or a name that that doesn't register to them, even with that many people, you'd be surprised. They had on the Xbox Twitch channel the other day. They had a couple-hour segment where they talked about disabilities in gaming. And I jumped into the chat, and the first thing I get, and hey, Cerebral Paul's in the chat, and he's an Xbox ambassador. And I've only talked to this lady like one time for one phone call. But the fact that she immediately knew who I was and my background and said, oh, by the way, we did an article on him a few months ago. Go check it out. So they know we're out here.
Yeah.
And if you get involved with the program, they'll know you and you will get to know them to the point to where you jump into something and they immediately know your name. And that means to me that, you know, it may seem like a small thing, but it means that I'm more than just one of those disabled gamers that we kind of deal with. Yes. They take the time to notice. So I urge you, if you see something that you need changed, reach out to them either through Twitch, Twitter, whatever, or, you know, because remember, they are very accessible on Twitter, especially. If you look up MSFT Enable, I think, or X-cessibility, they will respond back and they will answer your queries. And if you're not sure who to talk to and you don't know where to start, hit me up and I will find out. I will get you the information. It's just amazing to me the things that have changed, and it goes beyond just the controllers. It also goes beyond to there's a reason that we can now change the size of the subtitles and stuff.
It definitely makes me feel sad for a lot of gamers that missed out on generations prior to this one, Paul. What do you think? Because obviously there was many consoles long before the current generation of Xbox that had virtually no accessibility options. Right. So it was basically, unless you were, your standard typical able-bodied gamer, I'm wondering how many generations of games and consoles more or less got pushed to the wayside because of those issues. What do you think?
There were a lot of games, and there were a lot of games and such coming all the way up from the Atari 2600 to the Intellivision that I couldn't do because my left hand is pretty much I refer to it as the claw, because I have almost no dexterity, which means if I have to control something with my left hand, it's not going to happen, at least not with these.
Right. What's your current setup then, Paul? Are you doing keyboard, mouse? What are you using? The controller, standard controllers?
Well, I use a standard controller right now because I haven't been able to replace my lost Elite 2. Okay. I want to because I miss those hair triggers. But excuse me.
Yeah.
Even with the Elite 2, like the paddles and stuff, nice idea. I can't use the paddles.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing. There are other aspects of the Elite 2 that are perfect for me. The fact that I can program the buttons to do anything I need them to do above and beyond what I can do with a regular controller or inside the game has become very helpful. Thanks, Chase. And but like the paddles, they don't do me any good, but they're there. So it all depends on your disability. Like I know for a fact, Jay Graphic God, I believe he also has a disability. He plays different than most people. You know, and there you see in his case, the paddle saved his gaming. You know, so everybody's a little bit different, and the more information like that Microsoft gets, the more they work toward making things better. Like the controller, which is the accessibility controller that is totally, customizable to foot pedals, hand controls, twin sticking it. They even have things for like where you can use your eyes to control the cursor, or they're like what's his name? Hawking could use his mouth to blow breaths to control certain aspects of the game. They have brought all of that technology not only to the computing side of Microsoft, but into the gaming side as well. So like I said, the link I put will just get you started. There's also another link I want to put, which is the article they put up the other day. Let me find it again.
Absolutely. Yeah, and on the replay of this podcast, I'll try to include all of these links for everybody as well, including links to people in the podcast or panel and stuff as well. Haven't been doing a very good job of that, I'll admit, but I will get that stuff down eventually here, guys. It's a work in progress, going from my typical streams to this one. So, something cool. But good stuff, man. Anything else?
Yeah, let me dig up the link real quick here.
Yeah. Hope everybody's having fun.
I'm going to put two. I'm going to put two in.
Go ahead.
Two up there real quick. Here's the first one.
Oh, here's an interesting. Graphic God, plugging a Rock Band foot pedal in for the right trigger helped me play the Batmobile in Arkham Knight.
Nice.
That's quite interesting.
That's cool.
That is really cool. Man, should have had a video doing that, man. This is the kind of stuff, and this is what we do this segment, because it's interesting to hear those stories, things that we just kind of take for granted, so to speak, that there are people out there that are playing games and you don't even know it. Sometimes you're just like, wow, and then all of a sudden you find out, well, man, they played it a different way, or they played it with a completely different rig or a setup or a controller or whatever it might be. I mean, some people actually play with their feet. It's unbelievable. And here I am some days going, man, I can barely play these games with my own controller. With two good hands, and these people are kicking ass that's dedication, and that's insane. And I do have the links here now coming up from Paul, so I'm just going to drop them in the chat here.
There's the last, and here's the last one. This is just
a few years ago, I had a severe reaction to one of the medications I was taking for my heart, where it basically almost solidified my ligaments, and it was incredible pain. I couldn't even put enough strength on my hands to open a doorknob. That's how bad it was. And my hands were basically stuck in this position, like the Italian position, And
hey, what's the matter, you?
What's the matter? Yeah. And I seriously stopped to think about this. I was like, how am I going to play games now if I can't hold a controller? And Xbox had introduced the adaptive controller, and I never really looked that much into it. But I'll tell you what, when I was in that much pain with my reaction to my medication, because we didn't know if it was going to be permanent or temporary, I was looking into it, and those add-ons, oh my God, they are so expensive. They should not be that expensive.
That's the only downside. And I brought that up before.
And I was looking into it. I was like, I'm going to have to reteach myself all of this. Like, fortunately, it did go away for me. My hands are back to normal. But you really don't realize that Microsoft didn't have to do what they did for accessibility. They chose to do it. And the fact that even when I was going through this, that I thought, well, this is terrible, but Microsoft did something about it. Maybe I can use it. That was a good feeling. So I can only imagine that people like Paul are finally being listened to, are finally being catered to how that makes them feel about Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, and it's not only that. Like, let's say yours had been permanent. All of a sudden, you're a gamer whose situation has changed to the point to where if there's one there, you wouldn't be able to game.
Exactly.
You would be cut off from that part of your life.
I'd only be able to visit Italy. So,
I mean, I get it. You know, all these things do cost money, and people still have got to go out and pay for it. They can't just, you know, millions of objects and just do it completely free. But the bottom line is they have to spend how many millions in research and development, research, et cetera, you know, to bring that stuff out to the market. I can imagine how much effort and resources went into making the adaptive controller, which still stands one of their pinnacle achievements. Something that, again,
real quick, the guts
Yeah.
of the adaptive controller
Yeah.
are basically the same guts as the Elite One.
Interesting.
Also, Chase, that's a little disingenuous to Microsoft. A lot of the add-ons for the adaptive controller, like Logitech has a starter kit that comes with a bunch of different add-ons. But all of that stuff had to be developed. I have no problem with the fact they charge for it. I do have a problem with the price point, because even the controllers, like the base controller itself, is $100. You know, but then again, like I said, it's basically the control. The inside is the Elite One. There's a lot in there. There's a lot of technology there.
Cool. All right, guys, we're going to move the show along, pick up the pace a little bit as we are starting to close in on the 2-hour mark. Real quick, we're going to bring it down. We're going to just quickly talk about the Xbox Gear Store. If you haven't been familiar, I know for years people have wanted the Xbox swag. You see a lot of our panel members here right now wearing Xbox swag, whether it be hats, T-shirts, have their mugs, lights, you name it. But, you know, that's one cool thing. When you love a brand so much, you just love to represent it, that sort of thing. And I think we all do so very, very well on this particular panel. And so I want to just go around the circle. And since Eternal is on my right, on my computer, on my left, on the other side, we're going to start with Eternal, who is supporting the brand new 20th anniversary Xbox t-shirt and hat. You guys can see it right there. You can get it on the Xbox store right now. So tell us a bit about your swag, some of the coolest stuff that you have. Obviously we can see what you're wearing, and you wear it in style. Look very sharp this morning. So tell us about it, Eternal.
Okay, thank you. Well, as everybody knows, that what was the last weekend? It was the 20th anniversary of Xbox, and on Twitter they show from the Xbox OG to the new Series X, and Microsoft at their store they posted some merchandises to represent the 20th anniversary. So pretty much I decided to get a hat, a combination of a hat and a shirt. And I wanted a gold because I do have a black and gold and a hat with the Master Chief logo on it. But they didn't have the shirt. So I decided to wear this and represent it for today. So I don't know if any of you guys or actually order anything in particular to represent the 20th anniversary of Xbox Legacy.
I mean, no, I haven't gotten anything for the 20. I mean, I got stuff off the Gear Store, but not the 20. I really like that logo that you have on your shirt, but they didn't have it in, like, I can't do green because of my chroma key. So I was hoping they would have done it in gold, you know, or at least whites, and then I would have jumped on it, but they did it in green, and I'm like, I can't do green. I can't wear it on stream, so that's like a huge problem for me.
That's why my next drop cloth is going to be blue. I'm switching to blue.
I have a blue one as well, but I can't use that because blue messes up with other colors. You know, so I'm like, come on. It's like, wow.
It gotta be green, baby. Xbox green all the way. But they do. I know one of the mugs that they have is the Master Chief one, which is a gold color one, which looks absolutely dynamite. 20 with the Master Chief in there. That one's pretty cool.
Yes,
they do have like some type of cushion also, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like a throw pillow.
Okay, it's a pillow.
Yeah, I saw. I believe it was Cyber Gunther on Twitter. I believe he ordered the mug, and he showed that his gamer tag is on it. On one of the mugs, you can put your gamer tag.
Yeah,
the black and green one, you can put your gamer tag on it, and that's the one I ordered. That one, And when I went on the site, I saw it when it first came out. I went on the site and I tried to get the black and gold Master Chief one. It's not on the site anymore. I guess either it's sold out or they pulled it off.
Everybody loves Halo, man. It goes
It's
quick.
sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out. So I did get a mug where you can personalize it, and I did get the 20 trucker hat. So
nice.
I'm excited for it.
Well, that's a new shirt you got on there. Yeah, there you go.
Got my little hoodie. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
There you go.
Over there. So I'll have some when it comes back in. I'm excited for it.
Wait, that's a hoodie?
Yeah, it's a hoodie.
That's awesome.
I thought it was a regular shirt.
I thought it was a regular shirt too.
I can't see it well. There you go.
I gotta wear a hat to cover up that bald head. You see how shiny it gets. So but yeah, it's a hoodie. It's a hoodie.
Oh my God, my eyes. Love it. My eyes.
I don't have that problem.
Looking good, Scrubs. Looking good, brother. That's fucking fantastic.
Don't want to blind everybody.
I'm waiting to see what other items they may add to it down the road, since they're kind of doing like a year-long celebration, since technically the kickoff is the anniversary is not until November.
Right.
So I'm imagining that, you know, as we go through the year, they're probably going to slowly add different items to the shop to get. So maybe something else will pique my interest and I can jump on it.
I know that they have carry bags, they have backpacks. I know this because the reason I can't order anything from the store is some of it's on the way because I was part of Summit this year. Yeah. And I don't know what I'm getting. They're like, it'll be a surprise when you get it, but you're getting it. Okay. That's good. I can, you know. As far as the stuff they're sprinkling out throughout the year, if you're not already signed up for FanFest, people, go sign up for Xbox FanFest. They're doing giveaways all year long.
I tried to sign up. The link goes nowhere. It's like they have it shut down.
Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to go back and check.
I tried it. It's not active yet. So
I think they had a sign-up period only.
They did, and I signed up for it.
I signed up for it too.
When it first launched,
So I know Terry does have lots of Xbox swag and stuff, and Terry, you got something very cool there that I saw in pictures, but the first I'm seeing one on screen, and you also have your own cool T-shirts too, so people can probably pick it up.
I'm wearing this is my own shirt. You can get it through my shop if you're interested in that. If you guys want links, let me know. I can get links. I have 2 different shops because some have items available that others didn't support, so I had to divvy up, but. Since I wasn't able to jump on the 20 stuff because, you know, I didn't want the Halo one. Sorry, Axel. And I didn't want green. So I decided that I would.
I support Xbox, but I can't wear green. You know, that's just it's painful.
It is, man. It's like I love it, but I can't wear green. You know, it's like it disappears. I'll go invisible. I'm sorry. So, but I went ahead and I jumped on the lights that they had. So I got I don't have batteries on this one.
Where'd you get that one from?
Yeah.
Is it from the store or
20th anniversary?
Yeah.
It's on the shop.
So I got this one. It lights up, but I don't have batteries in it right now. So I got this one that I'm gonna throw it on the shelf, and then I got the achievement trophy that they use for the rewards program. So I got this one too, and this one does light up, and this one I actually have charged.
Okay. Randall 4 needs that one for sure.
It's a lot. Yeah. So this is what I was able to pick up from the gear store since, like I said, can't do green.
I would have loved when she turned it on and the trophy sound comes on. You know what I mean?
Cool?
Yeah.
It would have been cool.
Startup sound, that would be awesome.
That's awesome. I love this stuff. And Axel's supporting some really cool stuff again this morning. And I see he's got a familiar item in his shelf that I also have.
What's that?
There is a big light X in the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually got this because I saw a video with Dirk Griggity, and he was showing it off. He did an unboxing on it. And I just had to get one. I liked it so much that somebody gifted it to me at the same time I bought it. I actually have 2.
And I just keep this in front of my face for the rest of the show. It's much more attractive.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but this is my Xbox stuff. I have my Walmart cups here. I got my Halo 3 collector's edition helmet. And then I have the comic book. I don't know if a lot of people know there's Halo comic books. I have Lone Wolf here, which is a story about Linda. She's part of Blue Team. So that was pretty good too.
Look at Linda. You never listen to me.
Linda, listen.
The only thing that is missing right now, even though that they have a lot of Master Chief, they never put Cortana in it either.
If they had a blue like Cortana holographic glass thing, I'd sold.
Oh, everybody be over there. Yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure,
Sold.
for sure.
But that is something. I know Master Chief is an icon, but Cortana is part of it. My question is, why they never added her all these years?
Well, they have Cortana figurines. I have a few Cortana figurines. My favorite being, of course, Cortana from Halo 4. I thought she was the best one.
Cortana's on your computer.
She is. She used to be on my Windows phone too.
She puts you on your Connect. That's where she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's living with you
every day.
Yeah, but they haven't put out like a collectible. Like I have the Cortana figurines, but I have not opened them. I don't open them because I like the plastic protector. It shows them off very good.
Mm-hmm.
It would be cool if they would do a holographic Cortana thing you could put up on a shelf.
No, that sell out quick. I'd definitely jump on that.
Nice.
Halo, especially if you could pick the Cortana, like if you wanted Halo 1 through Halo 5 Cortana,
right.
And you could choose which one you wanted. I have a feeling Halo 4 Cortana would be the most popular, and I think we all know why. So yeah,
and then hook it up so that if you said, "Hey Cortana," the thing would animate and would move like she was talking.
Yeah, so
that would be sick. Absolutely. And Paul obviously supporting his Xbox swag. He's got one of the new Series X hats, so hopefully you can see that pretty well in the chat. It's not just X-rated or X marks the spot. It's Cerebral Paul, and I think he's got an Xbox shirt on. He's just washed it so many times it's now all white.
No, I have one, but it is in the wash right now, and hopefully I'm going to have more soon. After I get moved, I hope to be able to set up an actual stream space where I'll be like some of you will have Xbox stuff in the background. And
Nice. And like for me, I have the same lamp as you saw that Axel has in the background, and I picked mine up at a local EB. And one of the things I've always found, because for years, absolutely, like even when I started this podcasting, I was always looking for Xbox stuff, and I was always disappointed because very rarely could I find anything. I'd walk all these other stores, and you know what? A lot of these other stores would have like stuff that like PlayStation hats or socks or whatever it be, and there'd be some Nintendo stuff, but hardly ever could I find anything related to Xbox. Certainly Xbox branding. Like, yeah, I might find a Halo thing here and there like that, but as far as an Xbox, like a shirt with a logo on it, just show off my love for the brand, it was like near impossible. It's like, what is going on? And I even said, it was probably a year before they even opened the store. I said, man, these guys need to get out there and represent. I just think it's cool. Like, it's cool to represent the brands that you love. And I'm sure that the Xbox brass, they love seeing us on the podcast, sporting the swag. We're basically advertising for them right here. But I think it's really cool. I've got my share of some of the PlayStation stuff as well, and various things like that. So I think it's cool. I love seeing what everybody showed off this morning. Now I'm jealous. I got to get those lamps and all that stuff. Is cool. So now I do have a collectible here I want to show off, and I don't know if many people have seen this. I haven't seen too many show it off or anything like this, but I picked this up at a local Costco. Look at this, boys.
Oh,
now you guys familiar with Nerf guns?
Yes.
This one is made by the competing brand. I forgot the heck the name of it is.
Something, isn't it? Boom something.
Boom. So it has a cartridge that you can take in and out. It's got like 6 shells in there, and you do the pump action on this sucker, and it fires them off really quick. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I know it's red, and I'm sure they did that on purpose so that it wouldn't get mistaken probably for a real gun. But hey, when you're playing Halo, a lot of people have red guns in the game too now, but the coloring. So yeah, you can pump action shotgun right here. Yeah, I'm used to pumping things, right? So there we go.
This is Good Morning Xbox. This is Good Morning Xbox.
Hey, that's where your mind wants to take it. I said nothing out of the ordinary. There you go. That's kind of a cool gun. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I didn't see other people those.
Yeah. My mind takes it there and throws it on the freeway. Okay, right there. Yeah.
They actually made a Covenant carbine of that same brand, and that one is the one that's hard to find. And it's actually top loads.
Yeah,
the way the game does, which is awesome. But I've never seen it. I've only seen videos of it. But I would like to have that one too.
They actually have a I think it might be Nerf that has a set of like 4 guns you can get for office battles that are all Halo related.
Nice. That would be so cool.
Mhm.
Well, you can make your own homemade sticky grenades. Just go get a small orange or something, and then stick some kind of wrap it up in some kind of glue and fire it at someone.
Put some slime on there. Slime was real popular with the kids.
Yeah.
That homemade slime. Oh my gosh, that would be a mess.
And then make the sound effects.
Yeah, somebody's parents gonna be real mad after kids start throwing stuff around the house.
Yeah. Sorry, we
sure.
take no responsibility if your kids make one this morning and throw it at you.
Where'd you learn to do this? I was watching Good Morning Xbox. And,
there you go.
Yeah, stay away from the Gorilla Glue.
Oh, man.
God.
Sticks on it doesn't come off. Oh my lord. Yeah, we are giving people the wrong ideas this morning. Great stuff, great topic. All right, let's move right along. We've got some other stuff going on here this morning. A few more things. Right now we're going to let Axel take the floor. Hopefully he's ready. I didn't ask him if you did, but last week I think we might have forgot this segment. He was supposed to pick the community member spotlight. So Axel, the floor is yours. Hopefully you got your member picked out for this week. Who would you like to sort of give a shout out and a homage to in the community? It could be a YouTuber, it could be just somebody that's on Twitter that's spreading a lot of positive vibes, all that good stuff.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here because I actually have a little story time to tell on this member. If you could go to the other one, the one with the Gears 5 logo.
Yepper.
Yeah, let me see. Hopefully this works the way I want it to work. Okay. So my community spotlight for this week is none other than the graphic god himself, Jay.
Oh, right on.
So Jay's been gaming since he was about 5 years old. He started off on a Telstar, but before he was known as the graphic god, his parents called him the PP god. And he got interested in art when he was in elementary school, and he moved over to game art in 2003. Here we go. You can see Jay here hard at work, learning how to do his art. And Jay was nice enough to provide me his first gaming related art that he ever made right here. Let's see if I can pull it up. Boom! Look at this. It's professional work right here.
Knuckles.
You got Knuckles going on right here.
Yeah,
that's right. But of course, Jay is mostly known right now for his gamer picks. He jumped into gamer picks when Xbox just opened it up, and he jumped head first. And he does a lot of his work through xboxgamerpicks.com. Go ahead and someone type that out in the chat for me, please. And that's where you can commission him to do some of his work. And of course, we're going to go over some of his work real quick. Some of his more recent work. This is his most recent one. This is Mihailov Gaming. I don't know how to say that name. And this is the style you can expect to get. He's going to draw your likeness and whatever you want on it. This is one of my favorites right here. Doomslayer with the smoking microphones in the back with the gas mask going on real good. But Jay doesn't just do gamer picks. He also does art for shows. And he also does the, what do you call them? The layouts for podcasting and whatnot. Of course, he did the incredible art for Good Morning Xbox.
Nailed it.
Right here. Yeah, he definitely nailed it. I love it.
Yeah, it was real good.
I love that he put ducks in there and everything.
Canadian goose in there. That's what that is.
Oh, that's a goose.
Canada goose.
How can you tell the difference?
Bigger head, longer neck.
Because after they honk, they say, "Hey."
Jay, that's meant to be a Canada goose, correct, and not a duck. I'm assuming it's goose since we're in Canada and they're very common up here. They call them the Canada goose.
The Canada goose. All right. Of course, you can catch Jay live if you ever want to hear him on the Retro Renegades every Tuesday at 5:30 my time. I think it's 6:30 J time. So you can catch him there. But of course, every artist has their Mona Lisa, or in Jay's case, his gamer pick Lisa. And the greatest gamer pick he's ever drawn is right here. I mean, look at this. Not only does it have Halo on it, which everybody loves. If you love Xbox, you love Halo. And it has a dog. If you don't like dogs, well, you're not human. So you got two things that you got. You got man's best game and man's best friend. And with my likeness on it, of course, this is Jay's masterpiece. This is the one that's going to go up in the halls and the museums right here.
Nice.
Oh hell,
And
Jay.
I love the details he put of my my facial hair because I get stub real easy.
Yeah.
And of course, I like to keep my military cut high and tight. Not during the pandemic though, because well, now I'm just going straight bald every now and again. But I love that he got my dog in there. That's really awesome. And then, but that's it. You know, Jay is available. If you want to commission him for things other than gamer picks, you can get him on Twitter. Is the best way to reach him. Be patient. He does have a lot of work to do, but he will get to you. He definitely will. A quick story on this one. I actually won this one, and I actually won this gamer pick, and even the pro bono pick. He put a lot of love and care into it, and that's when you can tell that's a true sign of a professional. That even on the free ones, he puts full effort.
Absolutely.
And I won this one by, I think, talking about the Canadian hockey teams. So yeah, on Retro Renegades. So check him out, Retro Renegades, XboxGamerPicks.com. You can follow him on Twitter at graphic_god. And he's been producing. He's helped a lot of communities here.
Yes.
And
just add to it, like he was the first one that made my original Noof Nukem graphic. He made the one you see now, but he made my original one, and he did that out of the kindness of his heart. I didn't even ask him. He's just like, here. That's when I came to the community, and he was the first guy that did this. I mean, there's lots of other great artists out there too. Not to take, but Jay is he just nails it. He gets it. I give him when I gave him the idea for Good Morning Xbox, he sent me one, and I was like, okay, you're getting close. Then I just said, no, Jay, I just kind of want that, that early morning sunrise, and boy, he came back and it was like, dude, you freaking just kicked it out of the park again. So big shout out to Jay, fantastic community member spotlight, guys. And like I said, he's just a fun guy to hang out and play games with. Retro Renegades, those guys, if you're looking for a great podcast, to just hang out, have some chat, talk a little bit of gaming, but just watch some really good retro games. Hence Retro Renegades. They actually do live gameplay and stuff throughout the screen on the podcast, and it's a trip down memory lane too. So, but anyway,
I've impressed every time I'm on Retro Renegade that Jay can keep playing a game no matter what we're saying in his head.
Yeah,
no matter and we go off the rails. I mean, but Jay just keeps plugging away. I'm like, that's impressive.
Not to mention, he knows how to produce a damn show too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's also moved on over to podcasts and streaming overlays, animated pop-ups, animated gamer picks, shirts and merchandise as well. If you got any ideas, Jay will hook you up, and he'll do a lot of the artwork for you. Of course, nothing's free. But his prices are very fair.
He actually created my logo. I just search it right now. He just created that because I love the rings, and he actually went over from what I expected, and I really love my gamer, my gamer pick.
I'm just trying to find.
That's all I got, dude.
Did you put it up there? Oh, yeah, gamer pick. Okay, I'm just trying to get you up on the screen here. Shaddai. Here we go. Let you see it, and let people see it a little closer.
That's true, Jay. The rails left that train a long time ago.
No, but he actually made that because I told him that I like Lord of the Rings, and he created that. He did a really good job.
Sweet. Awesome, guys. Fantastic community member spotlight. We haven't decided who's going to pick theirs next. It's up to the rest of the panel, but they will get to pick one next week, so it could be anybody else. But so far, me and Axel both done our community member spotlights. So next week we'll have another one of our panel members with one. Real quickly, before we get to cloud gaming with Axel, we're just going to quickly talk about the 20 years of Xbox, 3 games that you feel highly overlooked. I don't know how much you guys got to dig into this one. I got a couple in my particular head, and then we'll go around the circle. There's been a lot of games, over the course of the 20 years of Xbox that you could say were criminally overlooked. Some, in some ways, they were popular maybe even at the time, but perhaps sort of don't get enough love and recognition that they do. And I'm going to pick out 3, and I think most of my 3 are going to be from the original Xbox era, because while they might have been sort of popular when they came out, the fact that they're largely forgotten about today and we don't have sequels to them is absolutely criminal. So here's my 3. The first one, which a lot of people are starting to play again now, thanks to backward compatibility, and also because the sequel is actually coming out. It is none other than Psychonauts by Double Fine. phenomenal little platforming game that had very whimsical, crazy character designs, wacky levels. It was really very different toward almost any other platformer we had seen up to that point. And I know a lot of people have fond memories of it. Just you were playing inside of the minds of each of your like sort of bosses or whatever throughout the game and the levels. And of course, back then it was an original Xbox game, so it was limited obviously by the hardware and stuff, but it still played really well. It had some wacky ass characters in it, and I love the game, and I'm glad to see a lot of people are playing it now, thanks to Back Compat, and of course because Psychonauts 2 is just around the corner, people are sort of kind of going back like I got to rediscover this game. Cray Simmons, what's going on, brother? Pixel Slapper, how you doing? Glad you guys could be here in the chat, guys. You're fantastic this morning. Appreciate that. But outside of that one, here's two more. And this one, I'm sure this game started out on the N64. But I think it was started to truly reach its potential on the Xbox platform. And I'm referring to Conquer Live and Reloaded. While I know it did sort of come out to, at least some sort of success, I think the multiplayer component was largely overlooked in the game. And I think it's also because that game came out fairly late in the original Xbox cycle, and it was overshadowed by a lot of the first-person shooters. But Conquer Live and Reloaded, and just Conquer itself. Why has it taken so long? We haven't seen a sequel to this amazing platforming franchise, a franchise in a platforming world that's like nothing else, because we've got a lot of platformers, but they're all really aimed at kids. The closest we've seen on Xbox in the last little while might have been Super Lucky's Tale. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of us actually, when we first saw Super Lucky's Tale, thought it was Conquer until we found out otherwise. So yeah, Conquer, the kind of humor, the graphic art style, the Conquer Live and Reloaded compared to the N64 version, absolutely like poops all over it. It's just so much better because it utilizes better camera angles. Of course, the graphics are way better. You can go back and play it today via Xbox backwards compatibility. Gotta love it. And play that today, and it looks and plays awesome. I mean, sure, if they remade this game today and perhaps they made a sequel, it would probably be even better still. But Conquer Live and Reloaded, and last but not least, a game that I'm wishing will come to backwards compatibility, one that a lot of people overlooked. Those who did play it will definitely know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about The Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. Perhaps one of the Xbox's original pinnacle moments, a game that pushed that platform graphically, a game that is revered by many even to this day. Absolutely stunning story, fantastic graphics, awesome atmosphere, and why we have not seen a sequel to it, or why we have certainly not seen this game come to backwards compatibility, is beyond me. What is the whole? It was probably something to do with licensing, but we know Vin Diesel himself is very heavy into games. We know the Starbreeze still exists, who was the original developer, and it was published, I think, by Atari. Atari, I think, was the original publisher. So there might be hangups there. I don't know, but we definitely, if you don't like Back Compat, there's a console for you.
That's right. I just saw that.
Yes, indeed. And yes, they played that last week on Retro Renegades. So there you go, guys. That's my couple. Quickly, let's go around the circle. What kind of games, even if it's just one game, what do you feel has been critically overlooked? Eternal Shaddai.
All right, I picked one for each era. So the first one that I have is Jet Set Radio.
Oh, you took one of mine.
After Sunset Overdrive, even though that one was overlooked too, but when it was something that when I play Sunset Overdrive, it reminds me of Jet Set Radio, and I'm like, that was actually the first game that I play when I have my first OG. It was, it was like a, how can I say, it was like a comic, spray painted all over the place. But you did have your bosses, and you gotta paint them. It was like pop culture right there, because during those years, I know there was a lot of graffitiing and all that, and I know Sega came out with that, and it was very with the grinding and It was good. It was really, really good. And I don't know why now that we see Yakuza coming to Game Pass and Phil went over there and talked to Sega and all that, why not make another Jet Set Radio now that they don't have Sunset Overdrive anymore? But now, since they have a really good relationship and always been, and like I said, now they adding Yakuza to that, why not ask Sega to create a Jet Set Radio Part 2? And I know a lot of people would love that. And, pretty much going back to this, to the old vibe like that. My second one is this. It was a PlayStation. I know it was a PlayStation exclusive, probably exclusive, but then it went to the Xbox, and then after that, it went pretty much missing. It was Tenchu.
Tenchu. Yeah.
It was Tenchu. Never played Tenchu Z, but for me, because I guess it had a bad review and all that, so I didn't want it to fall down. I'm like, that's my favorite franchise, but since I heard that, but Tenchu have been one of my favorites. I know that we have Sekiro. I know we have Sekiro, but it had it was like, it had its own story. It was like 3 to 4 Tenchus. It was 3 to 4 Tenchus, and it has its own story. So Xbox needs to bring another one. Now we don't see no Ninja Gaiden, which is missing also. So why not have From Software and talk to them to create another Tenchu for the system? That will bring another,
Yeah, but which developer did the original? I'm pretty sure it wasn't From, was it?
Yeah, it was From Software.
It was From? Did the Tenchu?
The only thing that published it was Activision.
Well, that explains the difficulty.
Probably, yeah. So I'm like, something like that. If I put something to the side, if that doesn't work, Ninja Blade. They created that too for exclusive for Xbox 360. But they From Software have a really good reputation, as we could see that.
Yeah.
So why not make either a Tenchu, if that doesn't work, like you said, due to the Activision, included, just make Ninja Blade 2.
Okay.
We need that. And for my last one, boy, oh boy, they will bring this one so many times. It does not matter which podcast, whatever, it always comes. But this is one of my favorites, Alan Wake. We need a part 2, not that Nightmare. Nobody wanted Nightmare. We wanted an Alan Wake 2.
Right.
I know we read that Remedy wanted it to make Alan Wake 2, but Microsoft said no, and I don't know what's going on. What do you mean no? That's my question. What do you mean no? Because if they went to, it was a good story. It was a really, really good story, but you cannot leave a game so up in the air. Finish it off. Please finish it off. We need an Alan Wake 2. And those are my 3.
Yes. Great suggestions, man. Really knocked it out with that Jet Set Radio, man. Definitely an overlooked game. It was kind of like Tony Hawk with this can of spray paint, kind of in a way,
Yes. And we need that one.
Yes, indeed. And up next, Scrub Nerds. So what games have you picked out?
Well, Jet Set Radio is definitely one of those, but I have a couple, but I know some of them weren't all Xbox exclusive, but mainly they were. One of the games on the original Xbox, and then I know they ported it over for 360, was Black. I don't know if you guys remember that one. I don't know why they can't make another one, find a way to bring that game up, but it was a single player shoot 'em up game, and it was the style of the game. I just don't think when it came out, the time it came out, there were a lot of shooters starting out. first person and third person, and maybe it got lost in the mix. But I played that game over and over again, just sitting there, just to watch all the shells hit the ground over and over again as you're going through the missions. So Black was one of my favorite ones since I'm all about shooters. One that is going through back compat, and just because a lot of people are mentioning is starting to pick up more. Rise Son of Rome, especially with Metacritic and a lot of people, oh yeah, you're just pressing X or but if you get a chance to actually play the game and go through the missions, it draws you in more than you think. And the game looks good no matter where you're playing it. You can play the game right now, especially if you have a Series X or the One X or just a regular one. Still, the graphics on that game hold up way better than most games that came out. What was that, about 7-8 years ago?
That game came out with the launch of the One X.
Yes.
Or the One, rather.
With the One. No, it came out launch with the One. 2013. So
2013.
Yeah. So 8 years ago, and the graphics still look great. If you get a chance, I mean, the game doesn't take forever for you to play through and beat, but just the experience, I think, because some of the toxicity going back and forth with the console wars and stuff. Oh, look at Metacritic. Oh, it's an Xbox game. It sucks, or blah, blah, blah. You've heard all the stories about it. I think some of that got overlooked. So if you get a chance, I'd say check that out. Another one, which I hate how in the game industry works, especially with fans, when a game comes out and then once it's gone, everybody wants it back. And it's too late. It's gone. Maybe nobody supported it, or it just didn't get the praise that it did. And that was, for me, one of my favorite games. It was Sunset Overdrive. And,
nice.
and now it's over with Sony. I love that game. I played through that game a couple of times. And when it first came out, that was one of the launch games with that. That game was so fun. And I think either a lot of people just missed it because they were overlooking it, or I don't know what the cartoon style or look, people were saying, oh, that wasn't my game. But that game was so much fun. And now that we don't know if it'll come out on a PlayStation, or they got the rights to do it if they want to or not, but we don't know if it's going to come on PlayStation. So all you got now is the One. And I think Microsoft and Xbox, maybe it was still at a time when they didn't have the money to spend. Phil definitely wasn't really in charge then, but I think that was a misstep that they had with that game, putting the first one out and didn't try at some point get a second one, or trying to get Insomniac at some point. But those are my three games that if you do get a chance, please go back and look at. But those are definitely underrated in my eyes.
Okay, nice. Coolcat Terri, how about you? Which games do you feel have been criminally overlooked in any generation or any platform for that matter?
Okay, I have a bunch, but okay. I'll try to keep it short and sweet the best I can. One is Gun. I feel like when it comes to like Western games, Gun is one that people forget about. Like that game was amazing. I had a lot of fun with it. For those that aren't familiar, it was an action adventure, Western themed shooter, and it was just so good.
Is that the one with the yellow cover, like a skull?
Yes. It was made by Neversoft and like an Activision. I would love to either see that get like remade, or even get like a sequel to it or something, because it was fun gameplay, great characters, great story. So definitely would love to see that come back. That game is definitely hard missed. But yeah, like I do miss that one, and like I see you mentioned like Red Dead. It's not on my list, but Red Dead Revolver. I actually preferred Red Dead Revolver over Redemption.
Wow.
So yeah, like I was when they said they were bringing back Red Dead Redemption, I was like, yeah, Why not Revolver? It was better. But, Redemption was still good. But anyways, another game on my list, Max.
Yeah, back when Rockstar actually made games.
Yeah. Another game on my list is Max, The Curse of the Brotherhood. It was made by Xbox Game Studios, but it was like on everything. Nintendo Switch, PlayStation. I think everybody had it because Xbox shares. So they, fantastic game. If you're familiar with like the kids' books, Max and the Magic Marker, it's basically, it's based on that.
Yes.
Fantastic action adventure game. I had so much fun playing with it. You have to, like speed through, and you have to quickly, draw stuff to try to get away from things. Like you might have to like draw a rope to, get over like large gaps or make a bridge or things. It was just a lot of fun. It's a great story too. It's this boy, he's trying to go save his brother that got kidnapped, and he goes into like this crazy wild world, and he's like, what's going on? And he has his marker, and he's like, okay, we're gonna do this. It's just fun game. So definitely, if you haven't played it, play it. If you have kids, have your kids play it. It's such a good game. It's definitely not well represented. It's a fantastic game, so definitely do that one for sure.
I love that game.
Too many people.
One of the first games I played on my Xbox 360, or sorry, Xbox One.
Yes, it's fantastic. Another one that I feel also doesn't get, represented was Marlo Briggs' Mask of Death. That game was a lot of fun. If you're familiar with the play style for like classic God of War or like Darksiders, it's just like that. The camera angle's a little different, but the gameplay style is very similar to that. It's really good. So I highly recommend you guys check that game out if you haven't. I lucked out. I ended up getting it through Games with Gold, and like I said in the past, I tend to just grab the games when they come out, and so I have them for that one, that one day to decide, I'm going to pick a random game and play it. And that was one that I got through Games with Gold, and I'm like, I'm going to play it. I figured, I'll throw it on for 30 minutes. Next thing I know, I did a full playthrough of it. It was fantastic. So yeah, Marlo Briggs and the Mask of Death. Definitely go check that out. It had, some quirky comedy going on in there, but sometimes it was like, okay, this is funny, and sometimes they were trying too hard and it got kind of annoying. But gameplay wise, it was solid. Fantastic game, really good stuff. And then just to kind of spew some off real quick, because I like stealth games. Styx. Master of Shadows, as well as the sequel, Shards of Darkness.
Yeah.
Fan-flippin-tastic stealth games. The Goblin is flippin' funny. Like, I just liked him as a character. Yeah. He had like that kind of like sarcastic humor, and he would be kind of really blunt with things too. So it was great. So if you like stealthy games, definitely play those. And another one that I feel, Thief, the 2014 Thief. Another great stealth game. Usually when you think of like stealth things, you think of like Splinter Cell and things like that, and those are great. But I feel like Thief did that genre better, because you had to really think about not stepping on glass and things that could give you away. Whereas like Sam Fisher, you can literally just full on sprint and they're not going to hear you. So for a stealth game, it's not very stealthy. But so yeah, Thief, highly recommend it. That one definitely does not get enough love. And then my last one, I'm just going to throw in there real quick. Mini Ninjas. You guys remember Mini Ninjas? That game was cute. Phoenix. Yes, that game was cute and it was fun, and it's another one that people kind of like forgot about. And I would love to see that make a comeback or get a sequel, because it was awesome.
They start yelling, Mini Ninja!
Oh, the Mini Ninja game. My God, yes.
That game was really colorful.
Oh, so well done. Loved it. And the different characters, the big chubby guy with the big mallet, and my God, it was great. You're totally right. Why is that game not backers, Pat? Plus, that was published by a big publisher too. Was it
Square
Ubisoft? Square Enix published that one?
Yeah, that one was.
Bring that back, please. Sequel.
Square, and then IO did that one.
IO Interactive. Yeah, the Hitman guys, the Hitman team.
Yeah, they hit it on that one.
They did great with that one, and it's like, that's the one they're not making. Like, what are you doing?
That game even look good because of its art style. That game actually held up and looked pretty well, like even on the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
Great games, Terry. Jeez Louise. Like, holy smoke. Axel, Follow that one.
How do I follow up with Terry's list? Good grief, man. There's so many games she mentioned I never even heard of. So I'm gonna go over the first game I have is a game that you don't play it for the story. You play it for the gameplay, the visuals, and the music. And it was an Xbox exclusive back in the day. And it's on backwards compatible now. And that's Panzer Dragoon Orta.
I was that close, but I know I backed off.
Yeah, the game is it's underappreciated. It's on Xbox Game Pass, and it's got the auto HDR. It's got the best auto HDR I've seen on the series now, from the original one. But there's a story. But trust me, nobody plays Panzer Dragoon, the arcadey versions, for the story. You play it for the combat, the tight combat, the way that your dragon can transform on the fly. You can approach each situation differently. And the music on Panzer Dragoon games is it's unmatched, in my opinion. As much as I love Halo and stuff, my first love of music probably came from Panzer Dragoon games. They created
a remake of Panzer Dragoon, and the other one that is not supposed to be, but it was a successor, the Crimson Dragon one.
Yeah, the Crimson Dragon, which was a launch title for the one, which did awful. Yes, I remember that one. Pixel Slap says Space Channel 5. Yes, that was awesome. So that was the first one, Panzer Dragoon. And it recently has a remake. They're supposed to be remaking Panzer Dragoon 2. As well, and I hope they remake them all because they are phenomenal games. They are fast. If you like games that have replay value, this is it, because it grades your performance on each one. How many hits you take, how many enemies you kill, how fast you go through the level. So the dragon has 3 different modes, or 4 different modes. It grades all that. That's
Space Harrier on a dragon is basically how I summed it up.
It is kind of, but it's got its own art style. I personally never found Space Harrier to be that awesome, if I'm being honest, but I love Panzer Dragoon for some reason. Maybe it's the dragons, who knows? Another one, which is a shame that this one got overlooked, is Lost Odyssey on the 360. This is a game that did everything right. And that's it scored high. It was an exclusive. It was a JRPG, and it was good. It was 3 discs long. It had 3 discs, guys. This game told a good story, and nobody played it. And I don't understand why. Lost Odyssey is such a good game. It only sold about 40,000 copies on launch day, which is not great for a game in general. So it's becoming more rare to pick up, and people are starting to see that it's one of those overlooked games. So it's starting to go up in price, which is great for me. I have it, but I'm never going to sell it. So that's another great game that I believe got overlooked for no reason. There's absolutely no reason that game should have gotten overlooked. It was in magazines. It got good ratings. It was AAA. I just don't understand. The last game I'm going to have, this is I really liked the Kinect when it came out. I loved the Kinect. I loved the dancing games. I love the whole gesturing. I mean, Xbox would probably have VR right now if Kinect would have succeeded on the Xbox One.
I definitely believe that. Yes, because
the 3D tracking, it was so great. And that is the Gunstringer. So in the Gunstringer, you control it's a Western play. You're putting on a play with marionettes. So you're controlling the main character as a marionette. So, you got your fingers out like this, controlling the marionette. And it tells a really funny story. It has a narrator that's just cracking jokes left and right. The voice actors are there, pretending with their marionettes. And it was more fun than I thought it was going to be. And to me, it's probably one of the 2 best Kinect games, with the other one being Eden. But the Gunstringer is definitely, if you ever wanted to see what the Kinect could have been if a game was done right, the Gunstringer is it. So those are the 3 games that I feel were severely overlooked.
Nice. Glad you brought in
That's
some
good.
Kinect games there, because almost everything on the Kinect was largely overlooked because obviously the a lot of people didn't own it, and a lot of people just kind of stuck with the pack-in box game or the stuff that was easy to. Yeah, I mean even that Fable game actually wasn't all that bad on the
No.
Kinect, which was pretty kind of cool.
It's because the
Yeah.
government's watching you play in your underwear. That's why.
Yeah. They're tracking
Well,
you.
they stopped watching after they saw me. They're like, enough of that
Nope.
crap.
Nothing to see here.
Thank God it didn't have smell-o-vision.
Oh wow.
Cerebral Paul, interesting to see what classics you dig up on this list. And you're muted, I think, brother. Hang on.
No, I'm not.
There you go.
So, see, it's a lot of the names I would have named were already mentioned, but see, my problem is, and I know you want to basically focus on console, but see, the games I want brought back are from even before that.
It's fine. Tell us. We're interested.
Well, like it was brought up earlier, the Cyberpunk thing. The original Blade Runner game on PC. We actually thought the assets to that were lost a long time ago when the developers split up and there was a fire and stuff. It is available on GOG Gaming for those of us who have PCs. You can actually get it. It's a slow burn of the game, kind of like the movie. I wish they would bring it. They could, since they have all the old footage and stuff, including the voiceover stuff. I wish they would bring it to Xbox. It would be really cool. You mentioned Thief. Thief actually goes back to like the late 90s. It started with Thief the Dark Project, which was amazing for those of us that are old.
That's why I mentioned the 2014 one, because I know it goes back.
Yeah, the to me, I didn't get into the 2014 one. I actually prefer the original, the old 1998, whatever it was. The mechanics, especially for back then, were cool. It'd be neat to see them bring that up to date. To me, anyway. And I'm not going to get into all this because I know we're running short on time, but there is one more recent game that was, to me, was overlooked and should have been a contender for Game of the Year. And it's going to hit on two things. It's going to hit on Game Pass, and it's going to hit on an indie developer, Maneater, which is coming to Game Pass in the next few weeks. Severely overlooked. It should have been. I'm serious. It should have been a Game of the Year contender. And it's one of the few games that I have 1,000 on. It is, the mechanics are cool. You're not hunting the shark. You are the shark. They've actually they did patch it for the Series X and S. It looks and runs amazing. The frame rate boost is incredible. Will y'all stop telling me I'm fading in and out? I'm doing what I can with my voice, okay, guys? It is what it is. So if you haven't had a chance to play that, when it drops on Game Pass, check it out. Seriously. I'd be surprised if you don't enjoy this game. It actually has a story behind it too. You're not just a shark running around and killing, though that is part of the fun. Jumping up on a beach and slaughtering people left, right, and sideways, or it actually has a developed story, and it's really cool to play. And it was, like I said, it was massively overlooked. Now that it's going to be on Game Pass, if you didn't check it out before, it's well worth checking out now. It really is.
Great pick.
Maneater is the name of the game.
I've never played it. I'm a fraud on that one. It's one that I've been interested in, but I haven't played it yet. Great game though.
Yeah. And I happened to see that it was coming to Game Pass really soon here, so yeah, it's on the list.
Nice. Yeah, it is the shark one. Chase, absolutely. There was a
Driver would be cool. Driver would be cool too.
Yeah, there was a Sega Dreamcast one you kind of remind me of too. Called, I think it was it Manhunter? Manhunter?
Oh, I remember Manhunter. Manhunter was cool.
Yeah, it was on the Dreamcast.
There was also, I think it was either on Nintendo or the OG Xbox too. I'm trying to remember what system it was for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. Perfect. Awesome. Wow. Fantastic suggestions from everybody. Some definite surprises in there. You brought people a trip down memory lane with that one. Holy smokes. Wow. All great suggestions, guys. We're going to speed it up and end through our last couple of segments real quick. So we got Scrub Nurse on deck with what's coming next. Scrub, hopefully you've narrowed down the list to at least games in this week as opposed to the entire month. So
yeah, there's really not too much that we hadn't already gone over, but I'll share my screen real quick and
okay.
Let's go. Of course, the game that we've really been talking about more than anything is going to be Biomutant, which is coming out on the 25th, 2 days from now. Really excited about this game, you guys. If you get a chance, check out Biomutant. If you're worried about it, I will be trying to stream this game this week. So if you want to see some of the gameplay, just see where I'm streaming, and you might be able to get a chance to check that out. There was a game that just came out that I was thinking about playing, but I really don't think we can deal with that. Minecraft Dungeons is coming out in 3 days. It's Hidden Depths. It's a little bit extra of what you've already been playing. I know a lot of people have been enjoying Minecraft Dungeons. It's been a fun game, fun for everybody who likes to play in a multiplayer setting or play by yourself. So that's pretty much it. Warhammer Age of Sigmar is coming out. I know a lot of people have been playing these different Warhammer games, so you kind of know what's going on with that. Not too many other games that are coming out for this week that I'm just saying, hey, this is the game you really want to jump on. But like I said, as far as this part, I usually on Metacritic just to show what's coming on for this week. So if you got a chance and you want to look as well, these are some of the games for some of the smaller ones that you hadn't had a chance to get on, but not too much on what's going on for the week. Like I said, the last 2 weeks, we've been kind of going on for what's going on for these 2 weeks. So when we get the bigger names in, we'll jump back on what's coming on for the week. I don't think we necessarily have to do every week, but anytime there's going to be a big game coming up, we're going to start letting you guys know. We're not going to forget you guys when we're talking about these games. We do want people to know what's going on. We want people to be able to play these games. And I know a lot of people come to these podcasts to see what's going on, to see what the casters are playing, to see if that's something they want to check out. So my thing is Biomutant. If you get a chance, jump on it. And I know Terry will probably be streaming it too. I'm definitely going to be streaming this. So if you want to get a chance, check us out there.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Like I said, and that's a perfect reason why we do this segment is what's coming, because I know a lot of people, sure, they have the big games on the radar, but what about, a handful of the smaller ones that come up and people are like, oh, that game just came out, right? Like, I didn't know. And that's the whole point. Not everybody has a calendar of games on their radar. You know what I mean? So great stuff, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, some weeks are going to be littered and some weeks are going to be slim, but we'll highlight the ones that we definitely think should get more attention. And anybody as well on the panel, if you see a game that Scrubnurse perhaps hasn't mentioned, feel free to jump in there and say, hey, maybe people should check this one out too if they got some time. So good. A lot of people playing Mass Effect right now. That's pretty cool. Good to see lots of love for that series. Seeing that, like, we're all playing it and you're getting that vibe back again, that positive vibe on the series and BioWare, where it's not people just trashing the developer and everything. I think they did the fan service right for Mass Effect Legendary. But anyway, that's a topic for another day.
And there is one that there is one that I'm going to mention every week that needs to get love. Bring back Sam Fisher, guy.
Yes.
yes.
Can we get that hashtag trending? Bring back Sam Fisher, please. He hasn't had a single game last generation, not one. Let that sink in, people. Not one. And the last game that they did was a good game, but it didn't even have Michael Ironside doing the voice, which still was not cool. Michael Ironside just nails that thing. It's just he's so cool, awesome. Yep. But anyway, alrighty, guys. We got one more bit here before we get out. I know we're running in a little bit on the long side. And that's cool. If you guys in the chat as well, if you're cool with the runtime of the podcast being closer to 3, that I don't think it's really an issue for anyone on the panel unless they have other things they have to get to. So far, nobody said anything. But just let us know, because we don't want it to be to the point where it's just like it's a long 3 hours. When shows are good, 3 hours goes by quick. The boys and ladies in this chat here can tell you that 3 hours passes extremely quickly. Like, I mean, our first topic alone, we probably did half of the show. But that's how it goes, right? Great shows, sometimes they go long, and you go, wow, it was a quick 3 hours. But if they're 3 hours and you're just like, man, I fell asleep an hour ago, that's the kind of stuff we want you guys to let us know, because we do want to make sure that everybody's is good. So we got to get through all of our segments. And last segment but not least, we got Axel coming in with cloud gaming. Axel, what's up in the world of cloud? Obviously, you said while you were away, you had a chance to dabble with 4G networks. I don't know if that's what you wanted to kind of highlight today or not.
Yeah, so when I was in Mexico, I decided to try out xCloud and their service, and I got to tell you, I am disappointed. And I am disappointed because it didn't work. It was not serviceable at all, not even close. I didn't catch any film of it. I wish I would have, but I mean, all you would have seen is just a bunch of pixels that made no sense. And I'm disappointed because when I was in Mexico, everybody who was playing a game, from the 4-year-olds to the 30-year-olds, were literally doing it on their phone, but they were not playing xCloud. They were playing some of the freemium games that are available on the phone, and they were playing. They had downloaded Grand Theft Auto 3 San Andreas on their phone, and there's just a market there, a market of younger gamers, especially, who they're not going to get consoles. In Mexico, their economic situation is really bad in comparison to ours. And a console is really not on a parent's list of essential items they're going to get their children at all. There's no such thing as free public education in Mexico. If you want to get a public education, your parents pay for it. I mean, it's that, like, there's no, you got to start to decide where your money goes. Your phone upside down. There's no such thing as right side up or right side down. It turns, Jago. It turns. It has a gyro in it. But I think that they're missing out on a huge market on that one. But other than that, coming into Game Pass this week, it is every week. There's a fishing game called The Catch if you're into that. There's Snow Runner if you like watching that one. Red Dead Redemption Online. Funny story on this one. I did the Rum Runners DLC on this one.
Yeah.
I got into it, and I decided to create a character that looked as much like me as possible. And when you're up close, he did look like me. But then when you zoomed away, he looked so Italian. It's not even funny. I had to go back into Creator to remake him. What's
wrong with looking Italian? I know I'm triggered. Okay,
there's nothing wrong with looking Italian, except I tried to look like me, and I don't think I look Italian. Do I? Somebody let me know. Just Cause 4, which is the newest Just Cause, is now on xCloud streaming. Psychonauts. This is the perfect xCloud game to play right now. It's a platformer. The controls work really well on it. It's forgiving enough for any weird lag you might get. Steep, this one's kind of fast. I don't know if you can really play Steep on xCloud with a little bit of lag, but if you can adjust, I think you'll do well. Outlast, which was all the rage on streaming a few years ago. If you want to get scared on your phone, this one's it. Destroy all humans.
Just don't drop your phone.
Yeah, don't drop your phone. You might regret it. Don't play by water. Don't play in the swimming pool. Let's see. Destroy All Humans is in there. Also, this is the remake, not the original. This one has a lot of charm. The gameplay does show its age, but I have a good time with it. The second extension, his game preview, is also on there. Make sure you check that out if you like shooters. Leaving xCloud right now is Void Bastards. Did anybody get a chance to check out Void Bastards?
Awesome game. Fun game.
Yeah. So the premise of Void Bastards is you're a prisoner, and you're basically being offered to get out of prison early if you do these tasks on these ships. But the map it kind of closes in on you. You can't be on these ships forever. They run out of oxygen. They run out of air. And if you're not out, you die. I mean, it is unforgiving, and you lose everything.
Yeah.
And Surviving Mars, if you're into 4X games, you know, what's 4X stand for? Explore, exploit, explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. Surviving Mars is great. I first experienced this game on Game Pass because I didn't know if I wanted it. I loved it so much, I bought every DLC for this game. It is really a good game if you love turn-based strategies or 4X games. And then there's some racing game. I can't read it. I can't make out what it is. It looks like Le Mans 2014 or something like that is also leaving. It's also leaving. I don't know. Maybe Terry can tell you about that game because I didn't play it. But yeah, that's what's going on with xCloud. But like I said, I am fairly disappointed with how the service was in Mexico. I feel that they're just missing out on a huge opportunity and a huge market over there.
Let me just say, because you talked about that before the game and you said Microsoft needs. That's not a Microsoft issue. That's an infrastructure in Mexico issue. The fact that they're limited, you know, their phone systems are limited.
I agree with what you're saying. The network is slow. It's not upgraded. Mexico doesn't have a nice 5G network or a fast 4G network, to be honest with you. But, you know, if you really want to reach these billions of gamers and you want to reach them on their devices, you're going to have to adjust your service to their capabilities.
But
that's the reason for xCloud, not Xbox as a console. Xbox as a console is great.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying, with any country, Microsoft is limited what they can do to improve the systems. The cellular system, whatever, that's not their purview. That's not their thing. You know, they have to work with what they got. And if you're saying they need to throttle down their services so that they can work on the slower systems, then the rest of us are going to complain. Trust me. You know.
Actually, I think I heard from I think it was on a thread that Jez Gordon had on Twitter about xCloud that they're testing the Series S blades right now,
right?
And that they're so promising and they're so good that it's actually reducing the latency. So that might be the solution.
Yeah. Well, that could be a lot of it.
Yeah.
But they've been talking about improving those blades anyway because when they set it all up initially, they worked with what they had.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, that's all I have.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, guys, yeah, we're almost at the 3-hour point. It has been a very fast 3 hours. And based on the chat and from what I put out there, it seems like nobody really has an issue with it. So unless our panel has issues with the time, then like I said, I'm cool. Personally, I think we talked about when we did this, when we were setting up the podcast, our original aim was to try to knock it under 90 minutes. Hasn't happened. Hasn't happened, and something tells me it's going to be tough.
That would be the intros rolling directly into the outros.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. Well, definitely
Just
for
roll
some
credits.
podcasts.
Just roll the credits.
We're done.
Hello and goodbye. But you're right. I mean, some podcasts, they literally 30 minutes and they haven't even added their freaking intros yet. Like, come on, guys, speed it up. But anyway, we're going to do our outros here right now. And I want to thank everyone for being here. Everybody in the chat, Anthony, Chipmunk, Mr. Kima, Chase Jones, Jago Kukin, Graphic God, Fastback, Psychonauts, everybody, man, that's come out here. You guys are fantastic. We hope you're loving the vibe too. A podcast, you know, people they always say we want to have a podcast where there's, you know, where you have a good panel that's not just the whole show is crapping on the other platforms constantly. Well, we hope that we're doing a good job of that here. That was our goal. It doesn't mean because we're an Xbox podcast that we will not bring up a worthy topic that could be related to PlayStation or Nintendo, but generally we want to try to keep it more of an Xbox focus and really concentrate on more of the positive things about gaming as opposed to just nitpicking all of the different things. You know, sometimes, you know, you got to bring up what you got to bring up. But I love this panel and what we've been bringing to the table, and we'll continue to improve it through our own feedback and through your feedback. That is fantastic stuff, guys. Appreciate it. And thanks for all the love. Great stuff. We'll have more next week. But anyway, let's get to the outros. Guys, hope you got your little things here. I'll pop them up on the screen. And we will start with Eternal Shaddai.
I'm finished with Eternal also. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, thank you I would like to thank each and one of you that took the time to see us doing the podcast and also sharing. That will help us, get more community. And this is something that we like. We like talking about gaming. We're very passionate. You can find me. You can find me on Xbox Console at Eternal Shaddai. You can find me on Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. On Twitch at ETE Shaddai, which is abbreviated because it was so long, I guess, for Twitch. I don't get that. And also on Facebook, I do podcasting on Saturday in Spanish called Cultura de Mancos, but we're, is bilingual. But main because we're the community is more Latin America, but we do both languages. But I would like to thank each and one of you to take the time, and we'll see you next weekend.
Absolutely. All right, let's get over to our next panel member, Scrub Nurse.
Okay, guys, you can find me. I finally got a lot of the problems I was having with my streaming setup. Amazingly, once I got the Series X, some of the problems I was having stopped happening. So I'm good to go now on Xbox. You can find me at all caps Scrub Space Nurse. Feel free to add me, guys. On Twitch, I'm Scrub_Nurse. And then I also stream simultaneously on Twitch and Facebook with my gang that I stream with a lot of times, doing multiplayer games. On Facebook, the Bayou Elite. And then on Twitter, you can find me at ScrubNurse3. So feel free to DM me, guys. Reach out if you want to. When I'm on games, if you're on there, I don't mind if you hit me up if you want to play a game that I'm available at the time and we're both on there. I'm down to do it. I try to be friends with as many as I can. So if you get the chance, just find me on there, and good to see you guys in the chat as always.
Fantastic. All right, guys, and let's get down to Coolcat Terri.
All right. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us on this fine Sunday. You can go ahead and you can catch me on Twitter at Coolcat_Terri. Otherwise, pretty much everywhere else: Twitch, Instagram, my Xbox gamer tag, all that fun stuff is Coolcat Terri, one word. And then I also have my own podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts called Just a Glimpse. I have an official website for that, podpage.com/just-glimpse. Check that out. Lots of great episodes, and you can get to know me a lot better. So thank you, guys.
Okay. Sorry, let me just, okay. I forgot to put that up, but let me just give me a second here. I'm going to copy it and put that up there for you guys. She just left it here. Hang on a second.
Then my Twitch, I stream there during the week, Mondays through Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern time to usually around midnight. Friday, I do my earlier segment at 2 p.m. to 6 to help with those that are overseas, the different time zones. And then Saturdays, I do a community game night, and that's usually at 6 p.m. To about 10 p.m. usually. I try to get off a little earlier on Saturday night.
Okay. All righty. Good stuff. All right, guys. Make sure you go give her a follow. All right. Let me just get over. We're going to next to Axel. His time to come up here. Let's give him the show.
First of all, thanks a lot to everybody who tuned in through the whole show. Chase Jones, Shizno Elite, Jago Coogan. I know you didn't make it through the whole show, but you were here, and that's all that matters. Shout out to Dreadpool as well, Anthony Chipmunk, and of course the Graphic God, who was my community spotlight for the day. Anyways, you can catch me on YouTube, Axel1324 Gaming. My hectic month of May is almost over. I have one more week of craziness, and then I can get back to normal. I will be uploading every Friday and Monday. I'm going to try to upload every Monday. Right now it's every other Monday. You can follow me on Twitter at Axel1324, on Twitch, Axel1324 Gaming, where I stream every Saturday with my friends. We only do co-op games, so come and hear us argue over dumb stuff. And of course, you can add me on Xbox Live, Axel1324, and make sure you invite me to your parties. I would love to play games with you.
Fantastic. All right, and I think let me just see here. Sorry, I'm bouncing back and
and
forth
Mike
between
Mullis.
the private
Shout out to
chat.
Mike Mullis.
Hey, Mike Mullis, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Right.
Sorry, guys, I'm just bouncing back
Fast
between
back.
the different chats here. I didn't realize you guys were putting on the link in the private chat over in the whatchamacallit here, so I'm just trying to get that up without closing crap or whatever here. So let me get Cerebral Paul's stuff up here.
Well, I'm going to try to put it in myself and see what
Oh,
happens
okay.
with it,
Well,
so.
it's even easier because then I can highlight it, but I didn't realize you guys were popping it there. Again, this is all part of the work in progress stuff here, guys, but
Well, 'cause last week when
yeah.
I tried it, it looked
I put it in
garbage.
both. I just posted it. I just posted it in this one so I could easily copy it later. and put it
Okay,
in.
yeah.
See, when I do it, it does all kinds of screwy
Oh
shit.
yeah, I put mine on YouTube.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll get you guys to send all those links to me later. You'll send them to me and the stuff, and then I'll basically put it on a sheet where I can just quickly just cut it and put it right into the chat. You guys don't even have to worry about it at that point.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
Mike Mullis. Sorry.
Mullet, not Mike Mullet.
Mike Mullet,
All right.
yes, Mike
So everybody
Mullet,
send outros except for Cerebral Paul.
Another great show, and I didn't kill anybody because I haven't had my coffee yet, and it's early. So we're doing good. So yeah.
Yes, I hope everybody loves seeing me though.
Yeah, I noticed that we're still looking at the, we're waiting to see if you're gonna have to run to the toilet. It's been 3 hours. You haven't had to take.
Yeah, he's done good.
Yeah,
you
if
guys-
you're wondering, I don't know if we mentioned it during the show. He's had a case of the Montezuma's revenge since he came back from Mexico.
Montezuma's revenge.
Yeah, it's serious,
funny.
man. It's serious.
Oh shit. Oh man, good stuff. Casket Repair, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you being here. A fastback, Psychonauts, Graphic God. Like I said, man, you guys are absolutely amazing. Got up with us early. Some people have been here the entire show. Some people coming in late. I guess that's one advantage of when we run late is we get those people that are sort of late risers and they at least catch the back half of the show. So that's kind of cool. All righty, good stuff.
Can
All
I
right.
actually do my closing now? Jeez.
Yeah, man, go ahead. Go for it.
Good
You're up.
God.
You're on screen. I left you there. Go ahead,
So
Paul.
you can find me at Cerebral Paul 1 on the Twitter. Yeah, Twitch, you can find me at Cerebral Paul. YouTube, you can actually find me at Cerebral Paul now because I have my own little thing, which is cool. And on Xbox, it's Cerebral Paul 921. Wednesdays, you can find me on the Midweek Gaming on the Subscast. You can find me here every Sunday morning. And on some Sundays, like today, later in a few hours, you can find me at the Flemish Experience. And on Tuesdays, I've been crashing the party over there at Retro Renegades just for fun, because why not? And until they lock me out, I'm going to keep doing that. Once I get everything moved and resettled where I'm going, I'll start putting out more content and stuff. I do want to start putting out some pre-done content reviews, even movie reviews and stuff, because at least for me, I have more than just gaming in my life that I'm into. And I have an interesting take on all of it. And if some of you go look at like my initial movie review from a really bad movie that I did last month, you'll see what I mean. So, and thank you for joining me. I'm so glad to see you all here. Thank you for the warm welcomes I get every time I pop into a chat. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful week.
Well, you certainly made a big impact on the community in a short period of time, Paul. You went from the odd guest spot, like I said, to now being part of some very amazing podcasts. So good to see you in more places. And we love what you bring to the table, just like we love all the rest of our fantastic panel. You guys are awesome. And the chat, you guys are wicked as well. And
let me just say, keep an eye out. Let me just say that I am going to be featured in an article for the Hollywood Reporter really soon here.
Wow.
I'll let you know when that hits.
Sweet. And speaking of the movie thing too, like if you guys would like to see a little more diversity in the podcast, doesn't all have to be just gaming, then let us know because maybe Paul can highlight maybe a great movie or a really bad one that he's seen. I would love to hear his take on some of those films and that sort of thing. So just let us know, like I said.
When we first talked about this podcast, we talked about doing a little bit of pop culture stuff as well as the Xbox stuff. I would still like to kind of do some of that as time permits,
Absolutely. Well, if we keep hitting the 3-hour marks, we'll have plenty of time for lots of things. But anyway, guys, obviously for myself, I'll get out of here. Look, I'm Noof Nukem in just about every place. Most people know where to find me. I'm pretty active on social media as well. So like if you can't find my stuff, just holler at me there. Lots of people send me message on Xbox all the time. I'm very responsive as well. I don't ignore anybody. I get back to people, and the feedback that I constantly get through my DMs or on Xbox, like, man, Noof, we watched your show yesterday, loved it, stuff like that. The feedback I've had after our first 2 episodes on this have been absolutely dynamite, which leads us to believe we're heading in the right direction. And like I said, work in progress. We'll get there, but appreciate you guys sticking with us through the blips and all of that stuff, and my technical dumbfoundedness at times here. This isn't quite as simple as running my radio program back in the day, because I'd have different setup and different screens. But when you're trying to do social media and video and other people coming in, it gets a little bit complicated. And the graphic god himself can tell you that producing a show and trying to manage a bunch of things at one time can be very difficult. So once you do it enough, it gets a lot quicker. Repping the 10, how are you, man? Good to see you here. Chase Jones, thanks for staying with us throughout the whole show. Yes, he wants to see some movies. He would love it. But anyway, guys, you know where to find me. I want to just say shout out to the people that came out last night for community game night. It was a bit of a much lower turnout than I expected, especially for Titanfall 2, but we did have a pretty good time. We played a few multiplayer matches, then we played a little bit of some private stuff, and then we kind of got out of there. I had a bad headache too, so I wasn't gonna stick around too late last night.
And just both community game nights were slow last night. And
which is weird for that game and stuff. Maybe everybody's just busy playing other stuff. I don't know. But either which way, we appreciate those who try to make the effort to come out and be a part of it. It's a lot of fun. Paul will tell you that. Anybody who's been a part of it, crazy great dude. Everybody that's in the chat. I know we had HTK with us last night, and Animated Evil, he was there. Good stuff, guys. But anyway, I wanted to just point out one more thing before, obviously, Gaming After Dark comes up on Tuesday, guys. Hopefully we'll see you out for that. This week, Mag will not be with us, so we're going to be getting another guest for the show. And I just wanted to say that tonight we're going to try something a little bit newer. I think it goes down at 6 Mountain Time, which would be 8 Eastern. We're doing an Oculus VR community game night. So for those who are fortunate to have an Oculus, I guess we're going to be doing Walkabout Mini Golf. And I know right now it's going to be me, Mag, Graphic God, Infinite, and perhaps more playing tonight. So it's going to be fun. If you want to join us, make sure that you hit me up with a message and add me on Oculus, and we'll get in there and play some of that. It's really, really cool stuff. That's going to be awesome. So that's happening tonight. We'd love to see a good turnout there. But anyway, that's it for me. Any further thoughts, people, before we get out?
No, I think that's it. Sounds good to me.
Sounded like Paul had something else.
No, I was just going to say that after I get moved, I might have access to an Oculus for once. So I might be
nice.
That'll be awesome.
The VR revolution, as it were. Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. All right, guys. Well, have a great Sunday. Go play some games. We'll let you get out of here, and thanks for being with us. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Yeah.